Stop streaming.
Just
Ban
stop
all your
streaming.
moderators.
If you ban your moderators,
Whoa,
go to hell.
I'm getting an advertisement on your stream for Black Friday stuff.
Do you guys even have Black Friday?
Yeah, we do.
You guys don't
we
have
took it.
Thanksgiving though.
Yeah, we took it from you.
Oh, wow.
We took it. We took it from the US. We don't.
Thieves.
We don't have Thanksgiving, but we do Black Friday, and everyone gets hurt. Actually, no, sorry, nobody gets hurt here in Britain. There was this video where somebody, like, there was a comedian. Oh god. Oh, I forgot his name. Russell Howard, I think that was his name. I showed you it a while ago, and he talks about Black Friday in the UK. And it was so funny. Like they get like shields and barricades ready, all the shop attendants and all that, and only one guy showed up. They open the door at midnight, and it's just one guy walks in.
Well, how come you're offline, Fizz? But it says you had to stream like 52 seconds ago or a minute ago.
I don't know.
How dare you? Like apparently, I could watch a recent broadcast, which keeps expanding.
It's live for me.
Yeah, it says I'm live. For me, because I'm live. Duh.
The first thing you say is stop stream. Okay, now I can watch you live. Oh, I can hear myself. Mute that. Okay.
Ew.
Oh, okay. Oh, you can hear yourself.
Let's set that to that.
I can hear myself. Hello there.
Hello there.
Hello there.
Hello there. No, Fizz.
Hello
I mean,
there.
Reese has got it.
There's just so many hello there's.
Man, I'm sure everyone's ready to see us put Vector into the game now. Because that's tell me what we're working on.
Surprise.
Fuck.
Tommy, you spoiled the surprise.
Part of the plan.
Just makes being a great detective.
I'm sorry, we actually meant to put Rotor into the game. No, Tommy the Turtle.
Ah, yes, Tommy the Turtle. It's
He's
a
dead.
tragic story. He dead. He turned to ash. He died.
Eggman sort of killed him?
Did.
I remember that issue because Eggman immediately afterwards is just like, I don't want to deal with you anymore right now, Sonic, and they just left with Shadow, if I remember. While Sonic's just holding his ashes in his hand. Like, wow.
Well
then. Comics were weird.
Guess Emmanuel's dead now then. Huh?
Yeah. I don't like being alive. I don't know if y'all around.
Oh no, you got the good boy open. We can't let them know.
Do I? Oh, I do have the good boy open.
What are you talking
I
about?
forgot about that.
Oh, fuck. Oh,
I have the best
fuck.
character open at the moment. I only wear these glasses whenever I stream. I should wear them more often. They make me look smarter.
I like that. That's the reason you need to wear them
that's
more.
the only reason I wear them during the dubs is they make me look smarter than I actually am.
While you're talking about the code, it's like you can adjust your glasses and be like,
Yeah.
well, you see.
Do the whole like just glasses to push up the
Like
nose thing.
the one finger lift up the glasses. You just need the light to hit it just right.
Do the anime thing.
Yeah.
I should wear them more often, just protect the eyes, but I don't.
Well, I can't believe it's not butter. Oh, that's the wrong line.
Ah, fuck. So to start things off, we got the most important character of all time in here.
Yes, boy.
Huge. Huge to pussy.
He's fixed now. He can jump.
Yep, he can jump now.
Can he?
Yeah. Oh, he can also glide too.
Yeah, he can glide.
He can glide. Because
You're welcome.
we reparented him to the power parent. He can glide.
Imagine if I add climbing to the power planet. Power planet.
Character. Yeah, the power parent.
All the big does is he just slaps his like fat onto the wall and he sticks onto it like that.
He's just following the air currents between his tanks so he can get lift.
All right.
Why would you say that?
We
That's
are
how
in the
he
middle of
grinds.
streaming, you know.
That's how he grinds.
I know.
Everyone knows that. Just saying what's known.
All right. And it's been close enough to 5 minutes. We usually hold off for about 5 minutes to let everyone get in.
Yeah, the stream is now rated PG-13.
Yeah,
Thanks
apparently.
to
Sorry, it's been tainted.
Mm.
Okay, I'll shut up.
Where to start? I guess I'll just because it'll take up less time. I'll go ahead and start with the Wisp related stuff, just because it won't take as long as with the Knuckles related stuff. Because those are the two major things we're gonna go over is Knuckles and Wisps. We do got a couple of other things as well and some talking points to go over. So
yes, sorry.
One big thing with the Wisps is we have it so you can place Wisps down and level like individually without the capsules if you want. Technically, they're still a part of the capsule, but you can say like no capsule or Wisp only, and the capsule will disappear. So now it's just a little Wisp. It's good for like little decoration, and you can grab them obviously. If you don't want to be able to grab them, instead of doing the capsule, you could just put the static mesh down, of course. That'll prevent you from being able to collect them. But because you turn off the capsule, the Wisp won't respawn. That's another interesting thing about them, is if you decide to go, like, forego the capsule, they'll lose the ability to respawn, which can play into some, you know, like, interesting level design aspects if you want. We might make it so they respawn anyway. We can just, like, turn off or give the option to turn on or off the respawn.
You can even put them on blind pass and stuff.
I bounced off of the
How dare you?
box. Alright, so let's see here. We've already shown off how all of the Wisps are animated. The two final Wisps are Ivory Lightning and Magenta Rhythm. We have finally gotten them to the point where we can actually like show them off and get a better understanding of what their final product will look like, similar to all of the other Wisps. So to start off with Ivory Lightning, because we didn't really get to show him off last time. He now has a mesh, which looks really nice.
That'll be custom made.
Yep.
You know, calling it from Gens 3DS. From Lost World 3DS, so that had to be custom made.
Yep. He can do a homing attack, which he's able to do so in 3DS Lost World. And whenever he does a homing attack, he will actually do an AoE damage. That'll damage nearby enemies, except Emmanuel changed the AoE code, so now it doesn't work.
What?
The AoE damage didn't go off, even though I'll have to update them, apparently. I wasn't aware that you changed the AoE code.
It's probably just you have to reference a different class, because I renamed it.
More than likely. Magenta Rhythm has been altered from last time that we had shown it off. Instead of having to hit one beat constantly, you have to now keep a consecutive rhythm of beats and jumps. Essentially, Emmanuel knows how to explain a lot better than I do. Instead of...
I can do it if you want.
Yeah, go ahead and explain it.
So when I heard about what Fizz did, I thought, oh, this should have like another element to it, because if you... For anyone who plays music, they know that there's a number of beats in like a measure. A measure is just a measure of like number of iterations in a song. So the way I thought about it is, what if you had it hit like, say, a number of beats within a measure? So if a measure has 3 notes in it, then you have to do 1, 2, 3, repeat 1, 2, 3. And you can change this number. It's a integer variable, so you got 4 or 5 notes in a measure. The point is, to boil it down, is that to get the most out of Magenta Rhythm, you have to get the note right a number of times, which is dictated by a variable. In this case, it will be 3, I think. So if you press the jump button on time 3 times in a row, you get a bigger hop.
It's 4, actually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Sorry, I
2,
was thinking about it because...
3, and 4. You can hear with the sound effects, like the higher or the more jump beats you have stacked up, the higher the tone gets. So it goes bump, 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 and then you get like a little jingle sound whenever you get the bonus jump.
Yeah, let's try that one again.
There is a current bug with it where you can't get the first bonus jump for some reason. I think I know why too, but I'm not entirely sure. Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah, the reason I thought it was 3 is because
3.
the Magenta
4.
Rhythm song is a 3-note measure song.
3, 4. Yeah, 1, 2, 3. Nope. 1, 2. Yep, just like that.
Yeah, I imagine it would help if, like, eventually we're probably going to make it so it's easier to sync the songs up with, like, the blueprint. But for now, it's, like, offbeat, I think.
So the thing is with, Magenta Rhythm is you can potentially get, it kind of works a lot similarly to Burst, which we've explained in the past, where the idea is you have to press the jump button to gain extra height, similarly to Burst, but unlike Burst, instead of charging up an explosion and launching yourself, depending on the length of the charge, instead with Magenta Rhythm, it's based on the accuracy of the jump, obviously. But in this case, Magenta Rhythm is, I would argue, more difficult to use than Burst, and because of that, Magenta Rhythm is actually capable of traveling higher and further than Burst is. It's just more difficult to do so, and it also has stronger punishments than Burst does. Because Burst is actually a very floaty Wisp. Magenta Rhythm is very floaty if you achieve jumps. If you don't, Magenta Rhythm will actually kind of drop like a rock. So here you can see I'm kind of floating around a little bit. The gravity's pretty low. But if I, like, the second I miss a jump, I'm going to basically drop like a rock. Like so.
It's okay, take your time.
So Magenta Rhythm can reward you more if you are skilled with it than you can with, say, like Red Burst. But it will also punish you if you mess it up. So Magenta Rhythm is basically a harder but better Burst, if that makes sense. It also has less combat capabilities, really. We're still thinking about and working around some combat ideas. We've not really begun actual work on it, but we're still tossing ideas out. But we think we want to keep Burst as the, like, of the two of them, we think we want to keep Burst as like the primary of the two combat Wisps, or if that makes sense. But
more damage.
Yeah, a bit more of a damage-oriented Wisp, to make up for the fact that it can't travel as far as Magenta Rhythm can.
Yeah, plus, you know, Burst is cooler in my opinion.
I like Burst more, but Magenta Rhythm is technically more useful if you can, in terms
But
of
a
platforming.
manual. Rhythm was your favorite.
Sorry, but technically Brown Shite is my favorite Wisp.
Brown Shite.
Brown Shite.
Now, a whole bunch of the Wisps, I have constantly gone back and done tweaks and balances to the Wisps. Like, for example, I noticed that, like, after working on all the other Wisps, Burst was kind of lacking a little bit, so I actually increased the speed of his charge time as well as the amount of height he can get out of each jump. I believe I also changed... Who was it? I know I changed Eagle, because I think he lasted too long, so I increased his energy drain a little bit.
Just a lot of tweaking.
Yeah.
Of numbers.
Most of it's all number tweaking, but with both Ivory Lightning and Magenta Rhythm pretty much nearing completion, Ivory Lightning is not still just a tad bit under the, like, you know, pseudo completion line, but with that gives us all of the base Wisps. Another neat little change with the Wisps is if you transform into a Wisp, actually let's go with Bob. Which this one here isn't necessarily new, but it's kind of going into the explanation of what is new, if you grab another wisp, that's going to go into your pocket as a pocket wisp. So whenever I detransform here, you're going to see that Gray Quake is in my pocket.
I thought that was already the case.
Yeah, that is the case. But if you overlap with the wisp that you already have, it's going to refill your energy, obviously. But what's new is if you overlap with a white wisp, it will also refill your energy. So this adds a little extra level of, you know, dynamic with the white wisp and how it interacts with the other wisps. So, like, say for example, if you wanted a level with that contains a wisp that you want to incentivize a player to try and get as far as they can with said wisp, but you don't want to give that wisp out anywhere. So what you could do is, instead of, like, you know, putting little refill stations of that same wisp out everywhere, you could put a refill station of the white wisp everywhere. That way the player can refill their wisp gauge, but not sit there and get a free wisp out of it, you know. That way they're incentivized to keep a hold of the wisp that they have as long as they can without you just handing them free wisps, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So that can add, like, little extra dynamics to the level design as well. I think we're going to do probably a couple of other unique things with White Wisp just to give it a little bit more use, because it's currently only used for wisps and speed characters. Those are, like, its only two uses. If you're playing a power or a flight character, White Wisps essentially have no purpose. So we're still tossing around ideas for that.
White could probably just fill up your flight gauge.
Yeah, you could probably, like, fill up a flight gauge, or we're thinking of testing out, like, an overheat system with the power characters. Maybe it'll cool down your overheat system, but that would be, like, really specific edge case uses for power characters. I could see resetting the flight gauge being extremely useful and less of an edge case, and, like, that could be less niche, but you know.
Yeah.
Also, how's it going, the Blue Speed Mouse and Mr. Spaceborg? How you doing?
All right.
So that's mostly it for wisps. If you're paying really, really close attention, you've probably noticed something, and I don't want to go too far into this because it really will not take too long. It's not that big of a deal. But if you look closely, you'll notice that we have LOD set up.
Yep.
I mean, it's probably not very easy to see on the stream.
Probably not. You probably can't see it on the stream, unless you got, like, you know.
The easiest thing I can see here is if you look at the wisp capsules at the end,
Yeah.
the top is flashing.
Yeah, that's because the top little spike here is being compressed down in basically a 2D shape. So you can see...
turns out...
Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, turns out making LEDs on a Blender, but Unreal is really easy.
Yeah.
It's really easy, but it's probably not the best way. It'd probably be better to make your own custom LEDs, but for just what we need, this is fine. Yeah,
we can... At some point, we can show you the horrors of, like, what Unreal does to models.
It won't take long. I can show them real quick.
Literally, you can just throw it up.
Yeah.
I guess you could show right now if you want.
Yeah. So LODs will obviously help quite a bit with the performance. And we have LODs of all different kinds of things set up. We've got LODs for the balloons. We got LODs for the ramps, the rings, the springs, the dash panels.
Characters.
Yeah, the characters, these item boxes. We got LODs for the rings and the checkpoints. And these egg pawns also have LODs, but not the other enemies. So we're not done setting them up, but let's go with...
There are a lot of things to set up with the LODs.
Let's go with Purple Frenzy. Purple Frenzy has a funny LOD. Amplify the attacks, turn a punch into a barrage. Maybe. I'm not entirely sure about that one. Because you don't want to just sit there... Well, I don't know. We'll test around with the idea.
Yeah, we kind of have to try to... I feel like we'll have a better idea once we finish now.
Oh no, Frenzy.
Yep, we got Frenzy. So if you look on the very, very top left here, you see LOD, and that's the LOD number because there are multiple LOD numbers here. LOD 0 is the base one, the one you'll see when you're the closest. LOD 1 is the first of the distance LODs, and LOD 2 is the second of the distance LODs. So you'll see on the very top left that it says LOD 0, and then as I get further away, it'll swap to LOD 1, and then LOD 2. And obviously it's too far away that you can't really see anything with the Wisp anyway, so having it be that low quality isn't going to really matter because it's too far away. It's such a small object. But I can also set it manually here. So let's see here. This is LOD 0, what we know.
No.
And then there's LOD. But keep in mind, it's jumping down from 992 triangles to 247 triangles. He looks lovely.
Crispy.
And then he jumps from 218 or 247 to 122. And
yeah.
he starts to look unwell.
Colors
Starts
feel
to
so
look
bright.
just unwell, just a bit unwell.
Just a tad bit.
He's got the coots.
So obviously if we just stick that
You can taste
onto
all the
auto,
colours.
it'll automatically pop back and forth. It's actually really easy to set these up. It's actually all done in this panel right here. But one thing that's different, I don't know if it's different, but one thing I didn't know that Unreal does is rather than using like the distance to the player character or the distance to the camera to dictate, you know, which LOD to use, it actually uses like the amount of screen space that it uses from the camera, which is actually quite interesting.
It's quite interesting. I
Well,
think that's honestly better for LEDs.
It is
when I
the
think about
best, it's the best way of doing it, because think about this. If you had a rock piece that was kind of small, but you scaled it up humongous to be like a giant cliff face, obviously, if it was still taking into account character distance instead of screen space, you would go so far, and then all of a sudden this giant wall you can still clearly see has become like...
Really low
freaking
poly.
Yeah, like triangles.
Yeah.
So using screen size is a lot better, really, because obviously it's how much screen size it's taking up before it's like, oh, we need to shrink in quality.
You can see it right there with the springs. I'll have to adjust this slightly, but it goes from a nice rounded to a bit more of a square, which whenever you're moving at high speed with characters, you're not really going to see this shit.
The LODs, like, we've set them up, but we haven't set fully up the distance checks for them. Like, we're just still tweaking all that stuff. We've only just started doing this like 2 days ago.
Yeah, pretty much. So that's that. The only other things that we really have done with the Wisps, I completely forgot about this, is we set up more object interactions with the Wisps. Wisps like Bomb, Gray, Quake, and I think like one other Wisp can knock down these walls here. Actually, I'll just go ahead and grab them real quick.
I think you could probably show off the thing we did with the environment.
Yeah, I forgot about that. So let's grab Quake and let's just bop. He just demolishes it.
How dare you?
I'm gonna go grab Bomb real quick and
Quake as well,
explode
custom made Wisp head.
Say what?
Because Quake again was a custom made Wisp head because we couldn't export from 3DS, so that was an easy one to make because it's very basic shape.
Boom.
So yeah, now Wisps can interact with these objects because they use a interface. The same thing with actually these objects. We've reworked a lot of these objects to use interfaces now rather than casting. So these dash panels, these dash rings, or the dash ramps, the dash rings, dash panels, springs, all of those use an interface now. Oh, so do balloons. Probably have to set up the spring pole as well. All of these use an interface now, which means that instead of having to cast to the character and set all the information, essentially just gets whatever actor is using the interface and passes information through to it to tell it what to do. Which is one, more efficient in terms of, like, you know, object interaction code. You don't want other objects telling you what to do or controlling you. You want the object to tell you what you should do and then you do it. You don't want the object to take control from you. That's, in terms of coding language, that's more ideal. Like coding interaction and stuff. But that also allows us, we're probably not going to do it for a little while, but also allows us to more easily adapt them to interact with other objects like enemies. So enemies, or, you know, NPC characters or whatever, or just any other general interactable object. If an enemy walked over a spring or a dash panel, then it could potentially bounce or, you know, get launched or whatever. So
I can just imagine that now with an egg pawn accidentally walking onto a dash panel while it's trying to attack you and it just gets freaking yeeted.
that would be funny. It also allow for a lot of, you know, interesting level design and gameplay design, allowing you to like, oh, I could fight these enemies, or I could just lead them to these dash panels and launch them off the fucking map or whatever. You know?
I could just leave them to the dash panels, so the dash panels kill them.
Yeah, something like that. It would just be fun. I'm sure there's interesting things you could do with it, but
Still aiming to do a lot of interactivity with all the parts of the engine. Like we're still going to do the faction system.
Yeah, we're still planning on doing that.
Oh yeah,
that we've done, or I say we, but mainly Reese.
Always.
There's a new setting for level blueprints.
Yep. Got a little weather system here.
Wait, are you playing music right now?
No.
No.
How dare you? How dare you not play "Living in a City While the Rain Falls"?
Because it's loud and I don't want to talk over it.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
I don't want to have to sit there and pause and turn the music down every fucking time.
You can just turn it down in a menu, but whatever.
Well, no.
I would have to pause it and then turn it down.
That's what he means every time he opens up the level. But yeah. Anyway, I've started working on a weather system for the level blueprint. So obviously, if you make you can change the mood of a level, I guess you could say.
Mm-hmm.
You can make it so obviously it's raining. There's another one in here already set up for snowing. There's going to be some for fog, sunny day. There's like embers I've thought of as well for like fiery levels. Like there's just going to be a bunch of stuff it'll add in.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the snow preset. And as you see, the snowflakes actually land on the ground for a bit and stay there.
Yeah. Spaceborg, yeah, we do mean like egg pawns fighting gun robots, and like if you have like Iblis factions, they'll fight each others and stuff like that.
Yeah. But the snow will also latch onto the walls as well and slide down the side and everything.
Actually, hold on. Someone's calling me. Y'all can continue.
Yeah.
Yep. So this is the new system I'm working on, and I'm going to try and tie it with the sky sphere. So when you change the weather type, it will also change the sky to more easily reflect the weather. And then also going to add ambient sounds with it. So when it's raining, is obviously like an ambient rain loop that plays.
Mm-hmm.
It's very early days for the weather system, but it's just as simple as going to your level blueprint and selecting what weather you want. Because another thing we thought of, Fizz, was when it goes to snow, like if you put it on the snowy setting, we could have it so the water blueprints freeze over. You could have like a global boolean on some of them though, to like make sure some of them don't transform like the ocean, because you wouldn't want the ocean to freeze over.
Yeah, it would be like an individual selected thing. Like by default, if you have the snow on, they'll freeze over, but you can go to like individual water pools or individual instance of, you know, the water volume and tell them, hey, you specifically, I do not want to freeze over, you know. That way you can still add underwater sections and stuff like that to like snow levels and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So.
Just a bunch of adaptable weather features that I'm planning to add. I've been wanting to add in this weather system since like the Forge update, but I just haven't gotten around to it.
I just thought of something. It'd be interesting if like during the stormy weather, like the water becomes more rough and therefore you have to run at a higher speed to run on it, you know? That'd be interesting.
I wonder if there's a way you can make it so the tessellation's a bit more extreme. There should be a way to do that.
Yeah, that or maybe during a storm you just can't run on the water because it's too rough.
Something else I was planning on adding is wind. That was something I was going to add ages ago, because that's one of the reasons for the air shield existing.
Mm-hmm.
The air shield was meant to stop you from gusts of wind.
Yeah.
And we've never gotten around to coding that yet. But if I add in like a storm, then you can have like wind. Because there is a wind actor in Unreal that you can place down. It's mostly used for like cloth physics and stuff. But that can easily be used for... I hope it can easily be used for what I want it to be. Hey, phone, shut up. But yeah, so weather system, guys. Just to make your levels look all nice and pretty, and we can have it snowing during the winter.
Mm-hmm. Very, very interesting. Very dynamic and pretty.
Yep. It's just to give the level more flair. Like I was thinking about earlier, and adding an ember sort of particle effect. So if you made like a lava level,
or like a volcano level or something like that.
Sorry. Let's see. But yeah, like, so you'd have glowing embers, because I can actually make the particles emit like little bits of light as well, so it would actually look really nice. There's all sorts you could do with it, but that's just a small thing that's been added in.
To further expand on your question, Space Warg, like Emmanuel said, yeah, we are planning on having different factions of Egg Pond, a gun, and
like Empire,
Iblis.
Gun, Iblis, Player, and like maybe a couple of other custom ones.
One thing that we're planning on doing is with gun bots. Any of them that are classified under gun will not natively attack the player, because that's just a thing that guns shouldn't be doing.
Yeah, I think we're gonna make that a global toggle just in case. I think.
Yeah,
so
more
like,
than likely.
the gun bots are passive. Or is,
All right, I'm back.
I think it's a neutral's the term, because as soon as they're provoked, then they attack.
Yeah. Well, passive means that. Well, maybe. I don't know. Maybe you're right. Maybe it is.
I'm trying to think of this in Minecraft logic, because there's hostile, passive, and neutral.
Yeah.
I think passive are the ones that literally don't attack you.
I always thought passive is ones that don't attack you until provoked, but maybe that's neutral. But the idea
Hopefully
with
it's we could work on soon.
yeah, the idea of this is like, instead of just damaging a gun soldier, you have to like straight out kill a gun soldier or a gun bot, you know, in order for the faction to become hostile towards you. Because in a game like Sonic, where you're rushing around at the speed of sound and, you know, blasting enemies left and right, it can be super easy to accidentally damage an enemy, especially if enemies have health. So,
if you play Minecraft, just think of the piglins.
yeah, it can be super easy to accidentally hit an enemy. So we were thinking that simply hitting an enemy is too easy to do, in order to have the enemy swap factions on you, or like swap allegiance on you. So more than likely they're going to just wait until you straight out and like destroy one of them. Like if you hit them, they're not going to attack you, or maybe that one individual one. Why, we don't know. We'll have to play around with it, but the entire faction won't attack you until you destroy one of them, more than likely.
Who knows? Maybe you could do like a wanted system, so that, because you know Sonic is fast.
Like Grand Theft Sonic.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he is fast like a car. He could just like.
Well, in the Shadow the Hedgehog, you can drive cars. There you go.
Yeah.
Grand Theft Shadow.
So yeah, there's that. We kind of just went over the weather system, and I think we're ready to move on to not Knuckles, because fuck Knuckles.
Fuck Knuckles.
It's fuck.
Let's
Yeah,
talk about
the main person to talk about is, of course,
Big the Cat.
Cream the Rabbit. Wait, what?
Grand Theft Sneaker Sand Mobius.
All right, so what should we go over first? Should we just go over the basic punch?
And Mobius.
Grand Theft Sneakers.
Oh, let's go over what we have for Knuckles so far. So,
I mean, where do we start with them? Because we actually got quite a few things.
well, let's go over his basic like 1, 2, 3 combo.
Okay, so
like,
that's what I was actually considering. All right, so I guess we'll just start with the combo. So if you've been following us with Knuckles for a while, you already know that Knuckles already has like a 1, 2, 3 combo here that he can use to fuck enemies with. Accidentally did that one wrong. So 1, 2, 3,
ignore that.
like so.
Just casually ignore that one.
We don't have any specific instance that happens if you like hold on the third attack. So 1, 2, 3, and hold. We don't have anything that happens there, but I don't know if we're going to. We'll have to play around with the idea. But if you decide to, instead of press the button again to continue the combo, if you decide to hold the button, you'll do a different move. So instead of going 1, 2, 3, let's say we go 1, 2, and hold, you'll do a straight up uppercut. 1, 2, uppercut.
Yep.
Or if you decide to just do 1, you will just press 1 and hold, and Knuckles will do rapid jabs. We unironically call this the Uru Uru move because we're unoriginal. And these moves, even though on their own don't look all that interesting or exciting, whenever they actually interact with the enemies, they do more things. So this uppercut doesn't look like it launches you too high, but whenever you actually hit an enemy with it, it will launch both you and the enemy even higher. So, like so. And the rapid jab move, what it used to do was it used to just hit the enemy over and over again, but one, we realized that was like way too powerful, and two, it was also kind of boring. It was funny, but not interesting in terms of
came up
move.
with a new idea for it.
So what you do is you're basically in a slowed down state where you can rapidly jab and move around, and wherever you overlap with an enemy, Knuckles will do a 3-hit combo and launch the enemy away from you.
Yeah. You can also let go of the button early to get a bit of a boost.
Yeah.
I may balance it later, so if you hit enemy, you get like more of a boost than otherwise. What's cool is that this, I'm not sure if we're going to keep this, but if you press if you press reverse of where you're going, while you're slowed down and hitting the enemy, you'll reverse the direction you get boosted from.
You'll basically just hop behind the enemy real quick.
Yeah. This was like, if you're wondering, I put this in at the last minute because I wanted to put it in. So we haven't exactly figured out how we're going to balance it, but this is just like the spirit of what we're trying to go for, it seems. At least for now.
So that's those two additional moves. So
well,
what?
just with the eggs there, you can see that the shields have got a few extra things on them. We're getting ready to start implementing different types of shields.
Spike shields.
They're both of the
that you-
meshes.
so
Yeah, all of the meshes are just appearing at once when they shouldn't be, but essentially there'll be a spring shield, standard shield, and a spike shield.
Yeah.
They don't really do anything at the moment. But,
Yeah.
Fizz did update the sound for the
Well, I found the sound, and then Fizz put it in, but we've got the sound from Generations now, so it's
it's now a bonk sound.
correct. Yeah, it's more like a bonk when you get bounced off it.
Yeah, in the future, I could probably make so it's a variable you plug in to change what it sounds like, so a different shield can have different sound.
I think the gun soldier shields will do the same thing.
Yeah. So to move on from that, we also got a different move for Knuckles. One that I actually really, really enjoy. If you've played Sonic Heroes, Knuckles didn't have a move like this in Sonic Heroes, but a certain other power character did. And by certain other, I mean 2 other power characters actually did. And that is a ground slam, which you can actually use to bounce off an enemy. If you hold the button, you'll do a normal bounce. Oh, let me actually hit the enemy with it. But if you time it to where you let go of the button as you hit the enemy, you'll actually get a higher bounce.
Yeah, so the move originally was a spike. So simply if you press the button in the air, Knuckles will just slam his fist forward and try to spike an enemy. And he can get height that way. But if you hold down the button, when you hit the ground, Knuckles will do like a little bounce, which isn't normally that much. You can charge it while you're in the air. But you can also charge it and hit an enemy with it and get even higher like bounce.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a really good combo you can do with one of the new attacks we just showed you, if Fizz wants to show it off.
Yeah. So let's see if I can do it here. Yep, just like that.
Yeah, it's pretty nice. And one cool thing you can do also is that you can, instead of hitting the enemy right in front of you when you do the spike, you can just hold it down, hit the ground, and then if you want to know, when you do the ground spike, if you hit the ground with enough force, meaning you hold it down for long enough, you will do like an area effect, which we may tweak, but the spirit of it is that like you want to hold it down, hit the ground, and like wham, everyone suffers.
Mm-hmm.
So a cool combo is like punch, uppercut, spike, or punch, uppercut, hold it down, hit the ground, spike. You see, Knuckles got combos now.
Yep, he's got some actual combo game going on. So the idea of this move is... Say what?
Got some combo wombos.
The idea of this move is it wants to both reward skill and reward aerial combos. So if I initiate this high in the air, I can hold it and it will essentially charge. And do an AoE if it gets charged all the way. Which, didn't you say that the total charge time is 2 seconds?
Yes, total.
So it takes a total of 2 seconds to do a maximum charge. And technically, using this to ladder off of enemies is actually faster than climbing up a wall. So You can use this as an alternate way of, obviously climbing up higher, which I used earlier to like bounce off those enemies and latch onto this wall. And you get points for it, which goes to your final level score. So that's another incentive to use it over just wall climbing. But so if I did this, bop, you can see I actually bounced up higher off of the enemy whenever I landed on him with it.
Yeah,
So.
You're always rewarded for actually hitting the proper hitbox. If you just hold down a button and bounce on an enemy, you get as much height as if you bounce on the ground. So you are incentivized for actually timing correctly, but you still, hit the enemy, you can still get a reward.
The problem is it's a little hard to aim sometimes, but
oh yeah,
that's just me.
Yeah, that's fine.
Get good.
I guess one thing we should, you may have noticed also, is that if you run into an enemy as Knuckles, he doesn't take damage.
Yep. Knuckles no longer takes touch damage. Power characters in general will not take touch damage.
Yeah, it's going to be a buff for them.
That's because power characters, unlike speed characters and unlike flight characters, power characters are going to be jumbled up in the fray. They're going to be up in enemies' faces, dancing around them, punching, doing combos and shit. So accidentally getting your combo interrupted because of some, hitbox bullshittery or, just getting a little too close to an enemy and taking damage, it'll feel really bad. And you're going to feel like you're punished for trying to play the way that the game is intended to be played, or like, how combat is meant to be messed around with, and we don't want that to happen. We don't want to punish you for simply,
I'll be back in just 1 minute.
trying to play it as it's meant to be played, if that makes sense. So, touch damage is no longer a thing specifically for power characters. They'll simply just bounce off of them like so.
Yeah, and we could update the animation or even make it so they like land on their ass a bit. But the idea is that you just get a very small punishment, only if you're attacking. Only if you're not attacking.
Mm-hmm.
If Knuckles is attacking, he does not. He will just go through enemies, for instance. This is only if there's just some punishment for not even bothering to punch or attack. Originally, actually, enemies simply just blocked your way and they didn't bounce you back. But that got finicky really quickly, and it felt bad for enemies to just, like, if you're doing a combo, to run into them and they stop all your momentum. So it's just an artificial, like, bounce back now. And we may even add something like this for, like, shields. If you run into shield an enemy, you bounce back for all characters, but I'm getting ahead of myself. Also, gliding is if you can manage to glide into an enemy, you'll combo the crap out of them.
We'll probably end up changing that, to be honest. Like,
So it's not as powerful?
It'll only continuously combo if the enemy is dead. That way you can just rack up score. But, like, if I did this on an enemy, and it still had, like, a lot of health left, then I'm essentially just free to hit it until it dies, which is probably not all that good.
I'll see if I can look into that. There may be a way for me to make so enemies get pushed back. I can make Knuckles push the enemy back after 2 hits or something. There's ways around it. So that's pretty cool. I actually had a lot of fun coding these moves. One thing we may have mentioned before about combat is that in many ways, coding Knuckles' combat would actually be easier in like practice, because a lot of his moves, like if you press C on your keyboard, you can show off like the hitboxes that Knuckles uses. And a lot of what we did before Sage, or what I was working on, is like making a system so you can create these hitboxes easily via animations and stuff, and make so you can interact with all of them and blah blah nerdy stuff. This is the payoff essentially. Like if I want Knuckles to do an uppercut, I just had to go in and create the animation, tweak the hitboxes. I mean, there was more work I had to do to make so it interacts with enemies, and if you hit an enemy with a certain hitbox, you get launched. But this made it so much simpler, and honestly, it took me like less than a day, let's like a few hours at most to start with the uppercut move, including the time it took for me to animate it.
Yeah.
We may have explained this before, but Knuckles has a bit of a homing property to his attacks. He will try to push himself towards an enemy, which we're probably going to revamp, because right now it's very imprecise and sometimes it can just push you past enemies. But other than that, Knuckles most likely won't have a lot of attacks that cause them to interact in a way that's very finicky, like the homing attack, which, as you can imagine, not teleports you, but interrupts you towards enemies, and interrupting that, playing around with it, can get very messy. With Knuckles, you just punch things. You generate hitboxes, and maybe those hitboxes do special things, but nothing nearly as wacko as a homing attack.
I want to
You know.
increase the range on that AoE a little bit. That's
Yeah.
really high.
I'm probably going to make it so that I'm still going to probably look into a version that only affects grounded enemies also.
Yeah.
I just haven't got around to it.
Yeah, that's the thing, is it's supposed to only affect grounded enemies.
Yeah, I could probably just make a variation that makes the enemy check to see if they're touching the ground. That shouldn't be too hard.
Mm-hmm. See if I can actually land this one. Yep, there we go. I got launched really high because I landed a full charged Grand Slam on him. Ow.
Yeah. Another thing is that if you can only bounce on the ground once.
Yeah. So if I bounce
That's something Fizz recommended.
and then I hold the button again, I won't be able to bounce. So
Yeah, you can still attack enemies, and in fact, if you attack an enemy, it resets your ground bounce. So if you have enemies around to hit, you can continuously bounce on the ground.
Yeah.
Although it doesn't give you that much height if you haven't already gained height, but you know, something to consider.
no. So if I bounce, oh, or actually, hold the button this time. Owie! I bumped right into its shield.
Oof.
God damn, I'm
Honestly, I
terrible
may
at timing
change
this.
the enemies that are around here.
I hit it right on the edge.
I didn't
So-
say it was easy.
No, it's not easy. I'm also just not good at timing these kinds of things, so
Well, you're just not grappling with it, you know.
no. I'm sure other people will be able to use this like way more effectively than I could. But even I can get some pretty good, you know, results out of using this kind of combat system. And I'm terrible at combat games, so I'm sure
Yeah.
other people could do a lot better than I
They
could.
have returned.
He has returned because
I
like
am-
ultimately the goal with like what we don't want characters. Oh, we added a boost cone to that move.
I noticed. That's cool.
It was Reese's recommendation.
It was I.
Yeah, it's quite nice. Also added a new move if you press Q. This is very experimental and just me trying things out. But I did add in a move that will probably have more functionality, but it should look slightly familiar if you do it.
Press the button. There we go.
Yeah,
Wait,
it's very lackluster right now.
It was just literally
Oh, I
working
just have
on
to
it.
hold. I just have to tap it. I can't hold it.
Yeah, I was gonna make sure if you hold it, he'll stand in place, and then like you can go in a different direction with it. But if you do you can also just do it on the ground. And he'll do a tiny little hop when he does it.
I noticed. Bounce right off that shield.
Yeah, I added this in honestly about an hour before this stream because I just wanted to put it in because I said I would. But you know, it's the I'm not sure we call it the spiral attack. It's been in a lot of Knuckles' appearances, official and non-official. The idea is that it's just a horizontal drill dash that we can touch up, give it multiple purposes, or even tie it in with Knuckles' digging or combo game. Right now, as you can tell, it just is honestly kind of finicky to use because it's just like a worst boost almost.
God damn, the enemies are sliding all over the place today.
Yeah. So I need to figure out what's causing that because I think that's more to do with the terrain than anything.
For some reason, sometimes the enemies will just fall right through the terrain, and we don't know why.
Yeah. Well, like these brushes specifically. It doesn't happen to like level objects you place.
Yeah. Oh, we got one other thing we can show off. Let me swap to Sonic, so it'll probably be easier to show it off. That's almost it for Knuckles, to be honest. It was quite a bit to show off, but it's also very fun and interesting.
Another sort of thing. Did you show off Eggman?
I was literally just about to do that.
Spoiled
That's why
it.
I swapped to Sonic.
I thought you were going to show out the momentum spring.
Oh, that's another thing, but whenever you jump off a momentum spring, he'll do a different animation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bit of flair.
Boing.
Essentially,
all
trying to look like CD, Sonic CD.
We got little Eggman here.
He's finally got his Eggmobile.
And he's driving backwards. Beep, beep.
Yeah.
Backing up.
He,
Backing up.
he is actually sitting inside of there, like he's got his hands on the controls.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
He'll make sound whenever you damage him. We don't have an entire boss scenario set up or anything like that. This is literally just... He's not taking
Messing
damage. He's just playing a sound effect whenever you interact with him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if
Super
I try to home
simple
attack him...
now.
If I try to home attack him, I'll just get stuck in him.
Do it.
Constant scream.
This is what we waited for.
This is what we're waiting for.
This is what we want.
I want to go up here.
That's about it for Eggman.
That's about it for Eggman. That's literally it. He's got an Eggmobile now. I can actually, you know,
You can
show off
boop
the
egg.
animation. Eggmobile. It is
There he
Egg.
is.
It is him, Eggmobile, man.
He sits in it. He's got his hand on the controls, and I think like this model also has like an engine inside of it and all those other things.
Yes, it's got like its jet thrusters inside of it, and I've had to custom rig that because it didn't come with a rig.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool, though.
I've rigged all of the major parts together so you can actually animate it.
Yep.
Which I'm gonna make like a couple animations for it, just a moving forward, moving backwards kind of animation. And a little hover.
Hoover.
So that's literally it. That's it for the Eggmobile. We didn't have anything else to show
Yeah.
off with it. It's just we've got an
Yeah.
actual Eggmobile. He's no longer sitting on a geometrical spheroid.
He's no longer sitting on an egg.
Nope. It's the
Egg with no
Eggmobile.
texture.
So essentially, the idea will be with this is you just attach it to like a boss scenario sort of thing, and then bada bing, bada boom, that will contain all of the damage properties for your boss.
He's really a Scowlin, though.
Yeah, the Eggman mesh is a bit broken somehow, and I don't know why that happened. So I've got to redo Eggman yet again.
Yeah.
Or maybe we can ask like our modeler to do that.
No, I'll fix it.
So is that it? Is that nearly it that we've really messed with or done?
I guess so. Like, as you mentioned, I was mostly focused on the Knuckles stuff. So,
Yeah. Obviously, Knuckles took the most time to talk about and explain with all of his additions, but
yeah. It's not finalized, but like with Sonic, you may remember us saying we wanted to get Sonic right first, because if we get Sonic right, we can get the other characters right, because we could try to figure out what fun is. The difference is that we have to make, honestly, just new moves for different characters. Compared to Sonic, like obviously the uppercut has been made before, the spike has been done before in different games and stuff, but like usually it's never like not done in 3D, and it's never really been that cohesive. Like the most cohesive combat experiences Knuckles has had is Sonic Adventure 1, 2, and Heroes to an extent. So, and so we have to come up with a completely different gameplay flow for Knuckles, and I guess we've had some ideas about it. One idea I had is that, well, what I was going for is that, like, it seems like if you notice, gaining height with Knuckles is sort of a big deal, or at least it seems slightly emphasized by his current moveset. Like, you can climb up walls, the spike can get you height if you time it properly, the uppercut can give you height. One idea I'm going for is that I want Knuckles to be able to turn essentially potential energy from falling into kinetic energy by, say, slamming the ground, and maybe even be able to turn that into speed somehow. I don't exactly have the blueprints for it, but I want Knuckles to be able to convert platforming, and maybe even like,
convert combat into platforming and such.
Yeah, and vice versa. Even turn combat and/or platforming into speed in some cases. Maybe not a whole bunch. He's not as speed-oriented as other characters, but he should have elements that either rely on or augment his speed in a sense that is worthwhile. Like, just him being able to run semi-fast is not going to be enough. Or at least it will feel disingenuous to an extent. one idea I had is what if so if you do a hold down the drill dive button, Knuckles can dig into the ground. One idea I had is what if after you do a drill after digging to the ground, you could convert that into like lateral movement, essentially burst forward in any direction. And on top of that, what if you could pre-charge drilling by charging it while you're in the air, or even charge it by hitting enemies, stuff like that. So you're incentivized by getting platforming or combat advantages to augment your speed, and then who knows, maybe you could find ways to convert Knuckles' speed into damage or platforming. Maybe not in direct ways, like if you go faster, your attacks hit harder, but maybe in more ways that could work, make you think about it, make you do combos and actively convert what you have into something else. Because keep in mind, Knuckles is supposed to be the harder of the main trio, canonically at least. Like Knuckles tends to be harder to play than Tails or Sonic, at least of course Sonic 3 and Knuckles and other 2D games. You can make a case in the 3D games that Knuckles is like not much harder. Although Sonic Adventure 1, I would say he's harder than Tails and Sonic to play.
And I'd argue like this combat is much harder to pull off than Sonic's combat is. Like, especially when it comes to shielded enemies or like multiple enemies, I've noticed that whenever it comes to Sonic, it is a little bit more difficult to, you know, deal out the same amount of damage that Knuckles can do. Like with Knuckles, you just saw me, I cleared all of these enemies out like really, really quickly. I can do the same thing sort of with Sonic, but once we get to these shielded enemies with Sonic, it becomes more noticeable how much more difficult it is, just because Sonic has less options to bypass shields. He has to either one, bypass them with a move like a kick, which sets up an enemy for another move, or two, he has to destroy the shield with a move like the homing wrecker. Versus
or
Knuckles,
get behind him somehow.
Yeah, or like versus Knuckles, who can just like pierce right through them and destroy them.
Yeah, and we'll have different types of shields so that Knuckles won't always be able to just pierce through shields immediately. They get shields have health values, and Knuckles just happens to deal enough damage that destroy them instantly. But Knuckles will definitely have a easier time dealing with like most enemies wholesale. Sonic definitely has moves to deal with enemies like the homing chain, the and both characters are not 100% done. Yeah, homing wrecker. The spin kick move, I forgot the name already. Windmill kick, for instance.
Like, Sonic can deal with these. It's just, one, takes a tad bit longer, or two, it takes a little bit more setup. And it's quite often like less mechanically demanding of me to do so. Like, in one sense, it's easier in terms of like actual mechanics, like actually playing the game. It's easier because I don't have to like, you know, tap any like combination or combo moves or anything like that extensively like I do with Knuckles. But at the same time, you know, I don't get the same results as I would with Knuckles generally, if that makes sense.
Yeah, like Knuckles gets way more out of actually hitting enemies because Knuckles, at least currently, doesn't have any moves that auto targets enemies and guides you to them. If Sonic wants to kill an egg flapper, all he has to do is just look at them and jump twice. If Knuckles wants to kill them, he actually has to physically get to them currently. We're thinking of ways to make sure Knuckles has some slightly more acrobatic moves and stuff. And of course, Knuckles can also glide and climb walls. So in a vacuum, Knuckles can get much higher and platform much better than Sonic can. But Sonic can take advantage of like Sonic, all he needs to do in this scenario is just home attack the enemies 3 times, and he can get to his vantage point in arguably a faster amount of time than Knuckles. Knuckles is just more self-sufficient.
Yeah.
Which honestly, like, I don't know if you got into this whole philosophy. I know I'm kind of dragging out the stream, but I feel like that fits into like their playstyles very well. I always thought as Sonic versatile, as a versatile character like Wolfbane does, but in like a limited sense. He needs tools in order to do things, or he needs the proper environment to pull off what he wants to, but he's able to do it really well. Knuckles and Tails, for instance, are way more self-sufficient.
Yeah.
There's your Sonic philosophy for today.
Yes, thank you for that. I was going to say something else, but I forgot what it was because you just kept going on.
Sorry, that's my bad.
Wow, Emmanuel. Why do you always talk?
One thing that we can do, because we're only at the 1 hour mark, There were 2 different documents that were sent to us about ideas involving Infinity Plus. What?
I was just gonna say you may want to go over the more recent one because that's first because that was the shorter one from what I can tell.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to find the other one though. Is the problem? Where's?
I can send you the link for it.
Oh, you have it.
I never closed it.
Okay, go ahead and do that then.
I guess if I put it here, that should work.
You can just
click on it.
Yeah. All right. So, who is this? All right. So this one here, we've got 2 of them. We'll go over the shorter one first.
I don't remember that one there.
This one because it was just sent to us today, like 2 hours ago.
They gave us more content.
Actually, like 3 hours ago.
I saw it, but I didn't click on it.
This one was sent to us by Michael the Cat. I've already went over it once. This one is
big. I say big, and I already approve of this already.
This is just general Infinity ideas. Cuts to characters, no. A combat system for each character earning more points and special moves, no.
Oof.
Big's fishing rod. The player can choose a fish. The more times you fish, the better score. No. The Tails is plane. You can fly Tails is plane. Either you fly around the map or destroy the enemies at air base and press the shoot button. No. And
damn it. Okay, I'm out of here.
Switching characters. If you can play as Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, and swap back and forth, basically hero style. No, okay, just kidding. That one we were already considered doing that one. All of these other ideas, I don't want to sound rude, but we've already, like, a lot of people have already tossed these ideas to us, and either one, we already decided that we didn't want to do them, like custom characters. No. I like to joke around about Big all the time, but we're not going to add a Big's fishing rod. That's resources and time put into something that could have been put into something else. A combat system for each individual character. No, we're going to go off of a parent system. All the speed characters will use one type of combat. All the power characters will use one type of combat. And all the flight characters will use one type of combat. Like, how each individual character influences that system can be altered. How you guys want to alter it, we're not going to do that because it's going to take a long time, and we're already spending a lot of time on this. But each individual character having their own combat system, that's not going to happen. That just takes way too long. We're sitting here trying to set up 3 combat systems, and we're only halfway through the second one, and we're already taking this long to do it. So setting up each individual one for each individual character, no. I don't want to sound rude, but no.
Wow,
to be fair, we have a lot of the work, like I said, it has been set up beforehand because I set up a lot of the systems that will be used by the characters. Mm-hmm. Knuckles is benefiting from that, so should accelerate the further we get into development as I set up tools that I'll use later. And you guys can use these tools too. So it'll make your job easier, hopefully, to set up a lot of these systems. Mm-hmm. But we're not going to go back and make systems for we're not going to give say what's his face, Shadow, his own punch combo kick system or stuff like that. It's just a bit much.
Kick move.
The only edge cases we're allowing here are Silver, Whisper, and the plus pack characters. Those are the only ones that we're allowing any form of edge cases for, just because they were a lot of the plus pack characters as well as Whisper. Silver wasn't really initially in the plans, but we ended up adding him anyway. But you know how Silver is. He's Silver. He doesn't play like any other character in the entire franchise. Whisper was in the plans from the very beginning. We actually decided on adding Honey and Mighty before we ever added Blaze, Metal Sonic, or Blaze or Metal Sonic, essentially. Blaze and Metal Sonic were literally out of nowhere. I was not consulted before they were added. They were just thrown in. And I'm not complaining because they're copy and paste characters. They're not difficult to add. They literally just use the already pre-existing systems. But Mighty and Honey were characters we were planning, not directly from the beginning, but pretty close to the beginning. Whisper was a character we were planning all the way from the beginning. And, Silver is just a unique individual. We had to, we can't just not do a silver system. So those are the only real edge cases when it comes to giving characters their own unique movesets. But giving every character their own unique moveset, no, that's not gonna happen. We have some interesting ideas and what we're probably gonna toss around with other characters. Like we have a unique fly system that we're planning on giving both Silver, Metal Sonic, and maybe even Tails. Those aren't really, combat moves, but those are like individual moves that we're considering giving to them. But outside of like those individual, more unique moves that we can, easily give to multiple characters, probably not.
Yeah, and especially don't expect anything like this update. We're trying to like get the combat working in, I won't say it's better sense, but in a functional sense wholesale.
Mhm.
In the Wisp.
And the Tails is Plane thing, that is, again, I'm not trying to sound rude, but that is so far left, out of the like left field, outfield, whatever. Like that's like a very individual game unique sense or situation. Like that's something that you would want in an individual game, not like, oh, this is something we're going to put in here because everyone's going to use it all the time. Everyone wants Tails' Plane in it,
Yeah, no, that would be the equivalent of like people say that like the Wisp we're putting in is almost like a separate game mode, like for each Wisp. Putting in the Plane will be the equivalent of say putting in all the polishing and finishing up and doing all the Lost World Wisps, I would say. Maybe even a bit more in terms of like manpower, time, and headspace, all of that stuff wrapped together. So essentially half the time we're putting into the Wisp almost.
Adding in a Plane and all those interactable things would be a lot of time for something that people.
It's very tangential to what we're trying to do.
Yeah, not really. Same thing. The same thing can be said about Big's fishing rod. Fishing, like I constantly teased around and like jokingly said we're gonna add Big, but we're not gonna. Even if we did add Big, we're not gonna do a fishing rod. I'm not dumb. I like Big, but I hate Big's gameplay in SA1. Everyone hates Big's gameplay in SA1. Like, if you do like it, that's fine. I'm not saying you're wrong for liking it or anything like that, but it's widely agreed upon that Big's gameplay in SA1 is probably the worst in Sonic history.
It's not appealing.
It's not appealing. That's not something that would benefit, the Infinity Engine in any way. Like, obviously, if we did add Big's fishing rod and the ability to fish in Infinity Plus, we would do it better than it was done in SA1. Arguably, we would fix the problems with it. But we wouldn't. It's really not something worth adding, to be honest.
Yeah, and like, as for joking, I've joked about adding in like Tails' like mech essentially from SA2 and turning the game into Mech Warrior. But I'm not actually going to do that. That's just like a long-standing joke. And Tails' Plane, like I joked that like I was like I'm out of here since we couldn't put that in. But I don't really. As fun as it will be to do like my own personal project if like someone paused it early on. That's not saying I'm going to do in this. That's not something we should do right now. That's a lot of time for something. Honestly, I don't think will be that fun in terms of like being a Sonic game.
I mean, adding Tails' Plane and adding Big's fishing rod would essentially just be like tossing in a mini game into this. That's what it would kind of be like, which we don't want to take the time to do so. And that's something that's not something that most people are going to use or whatever. The last one here, the switching characters, that's actually something we were already planning. This is like the one yes in this entire list because this is something we were already planning on doing. With the multiplayer and having a follower character and potentially like 2 follower characters, we were already considering being able to swap between the characters, like you and your follower character. We were already going to. I was just talking to Reese about this yesterday. Actually, we were planning on adding a system similar to 06, where if you enter into like a volume, maybe some little small cutscene will play, and you can swap characters like you do in 06 or something like that. That's a tool we're planning on adding. So swapping characters on the fly in the middle of gameplay is something that we were already considering doing. So that's like a yes, but that's a yes because it's something we were already going to do. The rest of this, like I said, I don't want to sound rude. I don't want to sound condescending or mean. But no. The custom characters avatar, that would take a long time to set up too. We considered the idea, and we're like, no, we're gonna have Whisper in. Whisper is gonna be a stand-in for the custom character. That's close enough.
Deal with it.
Yeah, that's close enough. I don't want to have to import all of these assets and set up, the menu situations with all that and all that kind of good stuff. I don't want to do that.
It should be noted that we first of all, like ideas are we do like ideas.
Mm-hmm.
Although the person who keeps spamming in our videos to port the game to Android, that's not what we're trying to do.
It just
we're not. That is honestly kind of annoying because that's not what we're trying to do. And not everyone, but like we keep getting the same recommendation.
Yeah.
So
sorry.
what we do like. You go.
You mentioned this, and now that you mentioned this, I do have to go off on this tangent. Again, I don't want to sound rude, but I am so tired of hearing that question. Like, I get asked a lot of the same questions all the time just because of the nature of the project. People come in, they're not familiar with the project, they need to be, taught some of the more basic things. That's fine. I answer a lot of the same questions all the time. That's the one question I'm tired of getting asked. Stop asking us to port this to Android. That's not what we're going to do. We're not making a fan game. If we were making a fan game, then we would consider that, but we're not making a fan game. We're making a framework. We're making a tool. If someone else wants to make a level, or like someone else wants to make a fan game with this engine, then you can talk to them about porting it to Android, but we're not porting this to Android. This literally cannot be ported to Android. It can't. It's a framework, not a fan game. This isn't an executable that you can start up, on a computer. This is a tool you have to open in an Unreal Engine, which
I'm not paying enough for that.
No, we're not doing that. Port to Commodore 64 when okay, that one's fine. We can port this to Commodore 64.
Yeah, we can do that. Yeah, that's
totally
that's perfectly fine. Yeah, yeah. Android, no.
No.
How about a Sinclair?
A what?
A Sinclair. Let's port it to Sinclair.
An Eclair? That sounds delicious.
Sinclair.
We'll port it to PicoVision is what it is. The Infinity Plus PicoVision edition.
Yeah, if you want us to port this to Windows though, just fuck off.
But
Windows is possible to port to.
Like I said, I don't want to sound rude, but stop asking that question, please. Just stop. Okay, it's not going to happen. There was someone else who was porting Infinity Plus levels into Android. I believe he was. I could be wrong. I believe he was Russian. He's totally okay to do that. If you want to port our work to another platform, you are more than welcome to do so. But we're not making a fan game. Our levels, like our Seagate level, someone ported our Seagate level to Android. That's totally okay. They're welcome to do that.
Yeah, that's cool.
We're not doing that. That's not what we're focusing on doing. That's not what our goal is. Please stop asking that question. And I'm saying that because this is going to be uploaded onto YouTube, so I know people who are watching this on the YouTube will more than likely see this. Please stop asking that question. You can ask any other question that isn't related to porting or porting to mobile specifically. Just any other question's okay. Like I said, I don't want to sound rude about this document here. I did shoot down basically all but one of these ideas, but I'm glad that people are asking them. I am super happy that, people are taking the time to send us ideas. I absolutely love that because Infinity Plus is a framework. It is a tool for everyone to use. So everyone's ideas should at least be considered. If you're going to use it, it would be, nice for you if, there is a feature that you think could really benefit the engine that you would like to share with us. That's totally okay. We love that. That's why we hold these dev streams. We like hearing ideas. So, like I said, I don't want to be rude for shooting down all these ideas, but we do like hearing them. So if you have more ideas, you're more than welcome to share them. Just keep in mind that, the nature of the suggestions that you're going to make will dictate whether or not we will actually, take those into consideration, if that makes sense.
And keep in mind, we're not like a charity. And by that, I'm honestly going to sound like a dick for saying this, but we are trying to make a framework for other people to use, but we're also trying to make a tool that we want to make, if that makes sense. It's like our collective vision. And while that vision does include other parts of the fan base, and we have obviously taken ideas and considerations from other people to make things easier because we're trying to make a tool, we're also not selling a product at the same time. So we don't have to listen to market trends or stuff like that. And not saying we're not going to listen to you, but we're going to consider ideas, but it has to fall in line with the guidelines the goals we set for this project. If it's too far aside of it, we're not going to do it properly because we have our own agenda.
Mhm.
Or else we'll be working on this for forever, trying to make a tool for everybody. And while that sounds kind of cool in a way, like just making a tool for the everyday Sonic fan and updating it for forever.
We got other things we want to do with our lives, you know. I've got other projects I want to work on. You've got work and things you want to aspire to. Reese has got his own projects he wants to work on. We can't work on this forever, you know.
Yeah, that's why we're making a tool for other people to work on. And keep in mind, we're more than happy to help you guys work any systems. I know haven't released an update that you can download and work on for a while. So I know a lot of people are holding off on like.
So what?
Because this one's a big one. This is a big.
This is going to be a huge update, guys. It's going to be a big one. So don't worry, your wait's going to be worth it. There's going to be a lot of content in this next update, which I'm actually going to talk about here soon. But let's Emmanuel finish.
I mentioned,
yeah. But we like, for instance, if you guys know on Tiger Son Alex, we helped him create his demo for the Sage Expo this year, and we're going to still continue to support him whenever he asks for help. There are some things we can't help with to an extent because it's outside of our expertise, or we have to split our time. But if you ask us to help do things, if we know how to do it at the time, we will try to help you. We're in this together. We're all Sonic fans. We all suffer under the Sonic cycle. Mm-hmm. So, if you want to create custom characters, if we can't help with that, if it deals with our engine, we can help with that. Combat system, big fishing rod, Tails plane. If you want to put it in the mech, please call me. All those things.
You'll be right over.
I'll be right over.
Like the things like the custom character and the combat system suggested, those are suggestions that do technically fit within the parameters of what we want to put in the engine. They're just too expansive and too large, and they would require too much effort to put into
ambitious.
it. They are technically too ambitious. It would take too long to do. The big fishing rod and the Tails is plane, those are things that are outside of the scope of the project. They're edge case niche individual fan game kind of things. But the custom character, the combat system, that's something that I could definitely see a lot of people wanting and doing. But those two things are just way too expansive to expand upon to the extent that this is asking for. I'm just we can't do that. I'm sorry. But like Emmanuel said, we will gladly help with questions. If you have ideas or, if you need help with things involving both the engine, both things that involve or are in the engine or things that you personally want to add to the engine, like completely unique ideas, we can help out where we can. But keep in mind that, we can't make your vision for you. You have to make your vision. We're just giving you the tools to do it. And we'll help you use that tool. But we're not going to, do it for you, if that makes sense.
Yes. Also, thank you for sending ideas, everyone, and thank you for supporting us.
Definitely, thank you for the ideas and the support. We definitely
download our mixtape.
Download our mixtape. You should totally download a mixtape on Spotify, yo.
Yeah, Michael the Cat. I mean it sincerely. Thank you for sending this to us.
Yeah,
and for being part of our community.
Legitimately, even though I said no to all these ideas, whenever I saw that you sent the link involving ideas, I'm like, oh hell yeah, more ideas. Obviously, I shot basically them all down, but they were all really cool ideas. I'm glad that you were thinking about it, and you took the time to make this document and send it to us. I appreciate that fact. I don't want it to sound like, oh, I hate all of your ideas ever. Don't ever send us ideas again. I don't want to sound like that. But thank you for at least doing this. Even though we shot down most of them, thank you for at least putting an effort to communicate with us about it. If that makes sense.
Yeah, this isn't a roast. Don't worry.
We're gonna move on to this next one, and then I got one other thing I need to talk about. This one here. Who was this sent to us by? This one was sent a long time ago, or not a long time.
Yes, I'm trying to remember the name.
I'm trying to remember which channel it was posted in.
Yeah, I know.
Support? I think it was Affinity General.
It's either Support or Infinity General, one or the other.
I don't think it was in Support. I've scrolled up. Yeah, that's way back.
Okay.
So many months ago.
Oh, I forgot. I did make a change to the camera. We could talk about that later.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that one.
Here, while we're looking for that, you can mention it.
Oh, no wait, no, that's not it. Is it? Oh no, wait, no, that's That was last month. That is way too far back. I don't think it's an Infinity General.
Damn it. It's probably Infinity Show. You show off the idea, we'll look for it. We'll be your muscle.
Okay, so yeah. Well, they're going to look for whoever sent that idea because we want to make sure. Hi, literally.
Found it.
Oh,
found
it
it
was
too.
Spaceborg. He said it right
Spaceborg.
there in chat. Spaceborg sent it to us. Sorry.
Me. Hi. Literally me.
It wasn't
Sorry.
Showcase?
It wasn't Showcase, yeah. I found it as soon as Reese found it.
Yeah.
We'll go ahead and go over this then real quick since we already know the answer. We've not publicly talked too much about this here, but we have discussed it internally quite a bit. There are a lot of really cool ideas in here. I think we're only going to be able to.
I'm so glad that you sent this though,
Yeah.
because we haven't even thought about the flight character yet.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, we have. We've thought
Speak for
about
yourself. Speak
Yeah,
for yourself,
it.
motherfucker.
We
No,
think and we
look.
talk about it, but we've not put anything into.
Yeah, compared to like the power and speed.
Yeah.
We haven't talked about the flight too much. We're like support type kind of thing.
Yeah.
That's about it.
Some of these ideas we've talked about it a lot internally. We do like a lot of these ideas. And we honestly, whenever you sent this link, I look at this, I'm like, holy shit! Look at all this fucking effort put into this one document. There's a
holy
lot of
crap,
effort.
dude.
This looks really, really good.
This looks something Sakurai would make. Like, jeez.
It looks professional.
We did end up kind of discussing it, and how it would fit into the project, and what these moves can and could do, and what these ideas, could and can't fit into the project and stuff like that. I spent 2 days. It was really fun to make. That's cool. I mean, if you have any other things you want to share, you're more than welcome to share them like this. We'll make sure to show it off. I didn't want to show it off just because there's a lot of effort put into it.
Getting the feedback in here.
Yeah.
Live feedback.
Some of these ideas we could use. Some of them we're probably not going to, just due to the logistics and how difficult it would be to work with an Unreal Engine. Some of it would be kind of easy. Other parts of it would be really, really difficult. And there are some things that I feel like wouldn't actually really fit really well with the flow of gameplay. I'm not gonna read this word for word, obviously, because it would take forever.
Yeah, but let's just start.
There's this status effect gameplay loop. If I remember correctly, it's been a long time since I read this. I should have read up on it yesterday to refresh myself. The idea was to create a gameplay loop of combat for flight characters to take advantage of, which is inspired by things like Breath of the Wild or Far Cry, things like that, which is very interesting, and that's an idea that I do think that we can run with. But this whole system of being stunning enemies in order to pick them up and drop them and knock them prone, there's an entire system set up here and listed in this document that to me is 5 steps too long. It's a 4-step program, and to me it's 5 steps too long.
Yeah.
We like the idea of stunning and knocking enemies prone to deal more damage as a flight character. That's a really cool idea. I think that we've even tossed around that idea beforehand. I don't remember off the top of my head if we actually did or not. But the idea of stunning or knocking enemies prone in order to deal more damage or to influence them via the level terrain or other things like that, or through your other abilities, that's an idea that we really, really like, and it does kind of really fit in with the flight character biography, if that makes sense.
Playbook.
Yeah, it fits into the flight character playbook, because the idea is flight characters are supposed to be the smart ones. They're not strong and they're not fast, but they are smart. They're the ones that tactically play around the enemies, around the terrain, basically using what's given to them to make the best of the situation. And a lot of this can definitely fit into that, knocking enemies prone through picking them up and dropping them, or attaching them to a balloon and dropping them, or even tethering them, things like that. That's something that can definitely be done to help accentuate the type of damage that a flight character can do. I know I mentioned this and talked about it with Reese, and I think you as well, Manuel, before, but if a power character can deal large amounts of damage in a decent amount of time, and a speed character can deal small amounts of damage in a very short, or in a very rapid amount of time, essentially. They deal small amounts of damage, but so quickly that the small amounts of damage doesn't really matter because it's happening so frequently. The flight characters would probably be like the speed character. They can deal very little amounts of damage, but unlike the speed character, they can't do it very quickly. So power character can deal large amounts of damage at a decent rate. Speed characters can deal minimum amount of damage, but at an extremely high rate. Flight characters can deal small amounts of damage, but at a medium rate. So in terms of the overall DPS output, they would be the lowest. However, that can be changed via altering and playing around with the enemies, such as stunning them, knocking them prone, etc., etc. And that's something that I feel like a lot of these ideas in this document can help accentuate. Things like tethering enemies to each other, or tethering an enemy to you, picking them up, or dropping them, or using dummy rings as a stun move. That's honestly a really cool idea. Or using the tether to electrify them.
And also, like, I did like the balloon idea because it reminded me of Metal Gear Solid 5, you know, the Fulton balloons.
Yeah. One idea that I think we will definitely use, we've said it multiple times before. I don't want to sound rude when I say this. No dummy ring. We're not doing the dummy rings. Dummy rings are dumb. We're probably going to do bombs, some form of bomb or projectile system for flight characters. And we can still use a similar idea to what the dummy rings do, but they're not going to be rings. Dummy rings are, one, they're more expensive because we would be using the same ring materials as our other rings do, and rings are already sort of graphically expensive. And two, it clutters up the area drastically, and it can get confusing with the terrain. Obviously, the big difference between a dummy ring and a regular ring is dummy rings have physics versus a dummy ring, or a regular ring does not. But that still doesn't make it, you know, less confusing. It doesn't make it less visually cluttered in a way. Dummy rings promote a lot of clutter, and we want to avoid that because, one, it's not graphically helpful. It's harder on your computer in that sense. And two, it's been done to death. Everyone, like, anytime, you know, flight characters throw projectiles, it's always dummy rings, and it's really weird. I don't know
where that came from. Like I guess we could speak for all of us that, like, we would rather see Tails use some sort of gadget he makes than just rings, because it doesn't feel like it's actually made by Tails. Like, it doesn't seem like a technology.
Mm-hmm. I'm inclined to agree on the dummy rings. I did like how they implemented the bomb move in the OG Project Hero demo, though. Yeah, we are considering doing bombs. I did kind of like how they did the bombs in Project Hero. I feel like they're a little difficult to aim, but that's just...
They're a bit clunky.
Yeah, they're a tad bit clunky. We're going to see what we can do to help alleviate that. We are really heavily considered doing bombs as a projectile move for flight characters. I know Reese really liked the idea, and I really like the idea of a doll decoy.
The doll decoy that,
you know, Genshin Impact style. You toss the Tails doll.
Yeah, because I've been playing Genshin Impact and Amber's distraction doll in that game. Like, I just see that now. I want to get a little doll and animate it dancing, and then I want it to explode violently after it's finished.
Yeah, so we will more likely... this is one move we will probably end up using, a decoy doll. This is one that we really, really liked. I'm not entirely sure about all the interactables, such as tethering or carrying enemies or things like that. It can distract enemies. That's something we could easily implement. And remotely detonating them, that's something we could implement. I don't know about the tethering system. I don't know about the balloon system, though. We'll have to see. But a dummy or a decoy doll is something we could definitely do, and it would fit into the aesthetic of, you know, flight characters. That and its Tails doll, you know.
Yeah. I got the excuse. Tails doll.
We'll have an excuse to add Tails doll.
Yeah, I do want to talk about... Reese, you go first.
I was literally going to say the one other idea I did like, but you said that we might not do, is the balloons. Like, I would give it a good go trying to do that myself, to be honest, because I think it could be good for crowd control.
Yeah, we can see what we can do with the balloons.
Just running up to an enemy, slapping a balloon on it so it's prone for
or
a
it
while.
could be a projectile. Like, what if you shot like a little device and it hit an enemy and a balloon would pop out of it and pull up? That way you don't have to...
That's what I was saying, honestly. Like, just you shoot it out of like a gauntlet or something, and like it's like, oh, I'm going, guys, help.
Yep.
I don't think shooting it out of a gauntlet, just make them throw it.
Like,
do a throwing animation. You just
Black
pull it
people
out the
need me.
tape, like pull it out. And then
that boy, Jackaboy, thank you for the follow.
Yeah. I did like the balloon idea. The tether idea honestly grew on me more, especially I'm not sure if I should say this, but like we tested some technology and like
I've
that stuff
considered
is
showing it.
viable.
I've considered showing it.
We'll
We'll see.
discuss it later.
We'll
But,
see.
like,
We might show. We might not.
all I'm gonna say is that
if you're all good and give us some ideas, we might have something special to show at the end of the stream.
We might.
hey, listen. All I'm trying to say is that I implemented some stuff tangentially related to the technology related to attaching things, and actually it works surprisingly well and surprisingly easy. That's all I'm going to say.
I do know that
for that.
I do know that Unreal's physics engine has tethering systems in it by default. The system that we're talking about didn't use that. It uses a different thing. But Unreal does have, if I remember correctly, tether systems because its particle system uses it.
You've got cables in Unreal, and those can have tension.
Yeah, I looked it up. It can be done, but like
we'll have to play around with it. We'll have to toy around with the ideas. We're not sure yet, but we'll toy around with the idea.
Yeah, and I wanted to also go over like I forgot when it was said in a document, but he Spaceport, when he was talking about the document, he said one of the ideas he was trying to go off of when making this system was how silver sort of accumulates enemies, and like I don't know how to explain exactly, but
that's another thing we can show off. I forgot about silver. We did more shit with silver we can show off. God damn it.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, we did.
We still got a lot more we can show off still in this stream. So let's keep going.
But let me I'll try to make it quick, but the idea is that like silver can pick up stuff obviously and pick up enemies, and like the idea with silver is that you can kind of snowball to an extent, or like you can use your resources that you accumulate through combat and stuff to affect combat, win more. And to an extent, I feel like what he was trying to do with Tails is to make it so that if you set up the situation right, you can win a situation faster or combat encounter faster. Maybe, who knows, you can like pre-plan having an enemy ballooned or something and have that spiral combat into your favor, which isn't too dissimilar from like what, say, Sonic can do by gaining energy, or Knuckles could potentially do by comboing enemies. But I do like the idea of like setting up a situation as Tails to like snowball situation in your favor, which is honestly kind of cool, like a small little puzzle.
Did Emmanuel just die?
Yeah, I died.
Okay.
So I was also reading Spaceport's comment, but
the way you left off that conversation, I thought you just cut out. I'm like, did Emmanuel die?
Say to the world, my final message. Goodbye.
But
anyway,
that's an idea that we had considered with flight characters in general, is the idea of snowballing, and a system like this could help. We'll definitely have to play around with the idea more. I think some of these ideas can definitely help with the idea of snowballing a team fight based on how you, or not a team, like a large fight depending on how you approach it and how you go about dispensing your attacks.
Justice.
And other things like that. Yeah, justice. You just fly up his tails and pull out a giant wad of justice and slap an enemy with it,
Use your batarang.
Flames from above.
But
yeah, I was about to say, like, you said team fight, and it's like, wait, is this Overwatch now?
Yeah, team fight. I don't know why I said team fight.
Play of the game.
Play of the game.
Silver. It's no use. It's no use.
I'm just imagining the Emperor Palpatine joke. Play of the game. Emperor Palpatine. Execute Order 66. do. It's just all the Jedi die.
Do it.
Do it.
It will be done, my lord. Okay. I feel like we should move on because we spent quite a lot of time. We really appreciate it, but we have to keep going.
Like, we appreciate it, but fuck it. No, I'm kidding.
Honestly, I feel like that document opened my eyes a lot when thinking about Tails, but we'll discuss more about it later. There's more pressing matters.
We'll definitely keep it on hand whenever we start working on Tails. So let's move on to Sliver. And I can go ahead and show off two things at once. Before we move on to Sliver, let's I'm just gonna keep calling him Sliver from now. You're gonna have to deal with it. So We teased this on Twitter, obviously, and on the Discord, but I think we should probably just show it off to give it a little bit more. I'll have to swap to Sonic as well to give it a better demonstration, but I'm not going to touch the camera at all as I run around here. You'll be able to see my hands up here. And as I move around, you'll be able to see that the camera is going to move all on its own. That's because Emmanuel has set up a sort of an auto camera system that will try its best to stay behind the character whenever you're moving. If you're moving at a slower pace, it won't do that obviously, because you're moving slow, and having the camera constantly jostle around whenever you're just trying to do minor platforming will be annoying as shit. So we might have to lower that speed gate a little bit, because you can like just pick up a little bit of speed and the camera's going to move automatically. So we might have to
these
adjust
guys
the
were
speed
thrown
gate.
together, so we could change it around.
Yeah, we'll have to adjust the values. And the reason I said I'm going to have to swap to Sonic, because the strength of it actually scales based off of your speed. So if I cut this corner here, you're going to see it takes a little bit of a moment, even though I was basically facing perpendicular to the camera's face, or the forward vector. It took a short moment for the camera to catch up to me. But that's just because Silver is moving slower. Versus if I swap to Sonic and I start boosting at super high speeds, whenever I cut a short corner with it, the camera is going to take less time to revert behind me, just because I'm moving so quickly, running around the environment. I need the camera to be in a position where I can see shit as soon as possible. So I'll swap to Sonic and show that off here in a minute, but to stick with Silver for now, we've not done too much with Silver. As you've probably noticed over here, you can't see it because I'm in the game, but in the editor, you're able to see the visual locations of the objects you have linked to the psychopad in the editor. So you'll be able to see specifically like their orientation, what they'll look like, their scale. You can also set their scale. The idea of it is to make it more
easier for level designing, so you know exactly what block is going where and what it's going to take up space wise.
Yeah.
So it's way easier for you to set up silver paths.
So if I if I exit out here, you'll be able to see here in the editor that this here, it is essentially a little ghost.
Ghost.
So if I rotated this individual point, you can see the ghost is going to rotate with it. If I try and scale it up, the ghost will scale with it. Here we go. And that is essentially a ghost dictating, what will happen to the object whenever it gets called by the psychopad. This is probably going to end terribly.
Yeah, it's kind of clipping inside of
the
thing.
As you can see, the thing grew because I adjusted the size. Yeah.
Its heart grew.
So it's not really like a major thing. It's more so for the ease of development. How's it going, Assyria? How you doing today? But that's a neat little thing. The other thing we've done with Silver is we have given him...
that.
Yeah, that thing. We've given him a projectile. He's got a little psycho knife now.
It is early in the visual department, but now Silver has a way of attacking without needing boxes all the time.
Obviously, it can deal damage to shields and such, and it knocks enemies prone whenever it hits them. And you can hold it and charge it, and whenever you do so, it becomes larger, slower, but more powerful. So if I hit this enemy, the single psycho knife will deal 1 tick of damage, but if I sat here and charged it up, we don't have any visual indications, but you can see now it did 4 ticks of damage versus the 1 tick of damage.
Hexed them up.
Yeah. We still can't interact with the enemies via, psychokinesis, but we'll work on that. That
But it had
enemy.
like a.
We gotta change the enemies in here. They're annoying the hell out of me. I hate these enemies.
Oh, you know,
I hate you.
the layout.
But the Psycho Knife also has a penetration ordeal. Depending on the strength of it, it can penetrate more enemies. So if I charge this up, it'll penetrate through more enemies, as well as deal more damage. So it gives it a little bit more incentive to decide whether or not you want to do a short knife or a charged knife. We are considering changing it to where a small knife won't actually deal damage.
Like do a stun instead.
Yeah, we are considering the small knife instead simply stunning the enemy for pickup, if that makes sense. But there are multiple sizes. Like that's a medium size right there. I only held it for like partial of a second. Whereas if I held it like that, that's a much... I think that was a 3 damage one. There's like the second to largest size. So I think there's like 4...
4 stair.
Yeah, 4 stages. There's a small... there's smallest, small, medium, and large, essentially. So you got the small... or smallest. It's a small... Oh, I think that is the medium. And then there's the large. Yep.
Yep. It's essentially styled after what he does in the boss fight from 06, not 06, from Generations.
That was a cat.
Yep, my cat is here.
Oh yeah.
It is slow. We're going to be adjusting the speed and such with it.
Yeah, it's just a cool thing, like we put together. Well, Reese put together. I can't take credit for it.
Yeah, Reese began work on it, and I did a lot of the touch-up work to it.
Yeah, I am probably going to rework how the projectile system works, so I'll probably have my hand on this too at some point.
But you can do it while running, like so.
Bye.
You can also do it while flying. It's actually harder to do on keyboard mouse because one of your fingers have to move over to the F key. So you can move forward and left easily, but not to the right because your finger's going to be on the F key charging it. So we could change it to Q or E, to be honest. But we'll see.
Just make it so that well, there's different ways to go about it.
Yeah.
We'll get to Silver eventually. It's going to be slightly complicated.
But yep, Silver's got a little bit more to do with combat now, other than just picking up box and throwing it. But with the move like this, once we make a couple more adjustments to it in terms of like how it interacts with enemies and the whole stunning system and such, once we get it set up a bit more, it will definitely help with the whole snowballing fight situation. Because we don't want it to become your de facto damaging move, but it should also, you know, still be useful in combat in one way or another. So a move like that can definitely help with the act of trying to snowball a fight into your favor. I'm going to swap to Sonic so we can show off this camera thing real quick.
Yeah.
So pretty much, essentially. Pretty sure that is literally everything I can think of. Besides the one thing which is a bit more.
It'll show some other time. For now, I think it will hold our cards close to our chest.
So you can see that as I'm moving around at super high speed, the camera is going to move behind me faster, trying to catch up to me. So that way I can see where I'm going much faster than...
There is something else we could show off.
What?
The menu stuff.
Yeah, we do have a couple more menu things we can show.
Yeah.
Jeez, we've actually been really productive these past 2 weeks.
Yeah, these past 2 weeks we've gotten a lot done. I knew that I was actually excited for this dev stream because I'm like, we got a lot of shit we can show off.
Yeah.
Compared to the last one, we only had like 2 things.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's always cool when other people do work and you get to show it off.
Wow, okay.
I'm sorry, Fizz, I didn't do
by the
like
way,
that.
We added this so you can stop asking us this question. This one is another question. It's less annoying to me, just because whenever people ask this question, they usually ask it with absolutely no context, so I don't know how to answer it because a lot of times people ask, oh, I start up the game and it's just a black screen, and I'm like, well, are you starting the packaged executable or are you starting it in Unreal Engine? And then generally they just don't answer after that, and then they wonder why they don't get any help, because I try to help them and then they don't get back to me. But if you are opening this on Unreal Engine, this is what you'll see first, is this screen here to show you that this is a menu level. The purpose of this level is that it's the main menu. It's a black screen because you don't need anything in the main menu level if you're going to go with an average main menu level.
It exists in the level now.
Yeah.
To purely say that really nothing should exist here.
Yeah. It's a black screen because you're in the menu level, and the menu level doesn't have anything. So hopefully people will stop asking that question, unless, of course, you're not playing in Unreal Engine. You're trying to play the packaged executable, and if you get a black screen, it's probably because, one, you might be running a 32-bit system, which I usually package these for a 64-bit system. That could potentially be the problem. Or two, you may not just have the graphical gusto, to put it one way, to run the project, if that makes sense.
Do you need more dedicated RAM?
More RAM.
Yeah, I honestly used to hate that as a kid when like my PC couldn't run some stuff. Like as an adult, I saw that by spending money.
It is annoying, though.
So, if you're gonna ask those questions, those are your two answers. Either one, if you have the project and you're using it on Unreal and it's a black screen, you're in the menu level. That's one of the answers. The other answer is if you're playing the packaged demo. I don't have a definitive answer for you. There could be multiple reasons why it's a black screen, none of which are probably good for you particularly, or your computer. But I mean, if you're getting a black screen and nothing else when you open up a program, that's generally not a good sign.
I know. It's just like, that's not a good thing for you. It just sounds funny.
There's nothing we can do about it, unfortunately, more than likely. Like I said, it could be the system type that you're running, or it could be something entirely different, like you don't have the GPU for it, or the RAM, or your processor simply just can't handle it.
These things happen.
You've got 50 million Google Chrome tabs open, and you wonder why your computer is running like a snail. I don't know. I don't know your life or your computer, so there's only so much I can do to help you.
Fizz, you're meant to be omnipresent.
I know, I am.
He's working on it.
So to actually show off what we're doing with the menu, let's turn down the audio first of all a little bit, because we still want audio. So everyone knows that we've got the different menu themes. We got vanilla, we got the new one, which now has different music.
Got the what call it in it now? Mega collection?
Yeah. If you guys can't hear the menu music, let me know.
I think it's a little quiet on my end because I've turned it all the way up.
Okay, let me turn it up.
Probably, yeah, you'll probably bump it up just a couple ticks.
The extras menu is also updated. You have the credits. Sound test extra 1 and extra 2 are empty. They don't do anything, but the credits pull this up. So now it's its own individual thing. You can be a little bit more expressive and expansive with the extras menu.
Yeah, there's some spare menus there for people.
Yeah, we also got put up the volume. You can't really hear it. All right, let me turn it up just a little bit more.
Turn it up. Oh yeah.
Crank the jams, man.
There. So we also got the classic.
That song in general is kind of quiet.
Yeah, that too. We got the classic, which plays its own song.
And the multiplayer has its own sound as well, its own song.
And does Adventure 1 have anything?
No.
Okay.
No, not yet.
Adventure 1 doesn't have anything.
Yeah, it's not there yet.
If you swap to it, it's just a white screen. It doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
But obviously we have Adventure 2, which everyone is aware of.
And it has the song. Also, with the multiplayer menu, even though it's not going to be included in the next update, multiplayer, the multiplayer menu now has a little visual flair when you select a character. Yeah. It will now change its color, so it more visually shows you that you're locked in.
Oh, cool.
What was it?
It's numpad for player 2.
I know, I just didn't remember which of the number pad buttons it was.
8, 4, 6, 2 to move, and 5 to select, and 0 to go back.
Obviously, we got heroes.
Yeah.
Oh,
my
that's still
my
selected.
menu of choice. Yeah, it doesn't cancel out the multiplayer menu like it's not finished.
And then we've got 06, which is a new one.
This is the new one. This is the new one.
Or one of the
It's
new
got
ones.
a menu cursor.
We got more than one new one.
Oh yeah.
It's got some of the best music.
It does.
Not looped correctly, but still good.
We got the multiplayer here, obviously. How do you back out with player 2?
0
Oh, 0.
on the numpad.
And then we have Unleashed.
This is the new one. The font changes as well for people if they paid attention.
Yep. The multiplayer doesn't have its own theme because Unleashed is kind of lacking in menu music.
Yeah, it doesn't have too many menu musics. I was thinking using Gaia Temple for one of the menus, but didn't do it.
Then we got Generations, which is my personal favorite. The only thing that I would like to have done with this one is have like little background dilly-dallies animate.
That would be cool.
That would be really nice. But other than that, this is already pretty nice.
It all has unique songs.
Should I do it?
Yeah.
Should I do it?
There's another menu, isn't there? Oh no, Generations is the last one.
Generations is the last one. I just realized the banner around the characters is really low quality.
It is.
See if we can fix that up.
Probably get a graphic designer to redraw it, to be honest.
Yeah. How's it going,
Cool.
Super Player 2? How you doing?
Oh, shoot, we got a super player now. Also, we have a lot more people watching now than before. We have like 6 more people.
Yeah, we do.
More than that, I think.
Yeah, there's also another thing on the menu that I updated, so when you go in the wrong direction, if you press over left on single player, it'll give you a little error sound effect.
Yep. That happened with all of them.
Yeah, I went through every single one, fixed it up.
Thank you. Sonic Unleashed is my favorite game. This made my day. Also like the Generations one. Alright, can you... That appears to be a bot. Could you take care of that?
Oh, dang. Oh. We're down to 10 viewers, including me and Reese.
But how do I remove it?
You have to click on the person's name.
Want to become famous? Buy followers, primes, and viewers on...
Thank you.
There we go.
So yeah, all of these now have like, you know, failed button inputs. That are equivalent to their type.
Yeah, they got the sound effects.
Adventure 2 and
Like-
Heroes are the same.
Oh yeah, Adventure 1, Adventure 2, and Adventure 3. Adventure 3? Yeah, or 6.
Adventure
No.
3.
Heroes had the same menu sound effects. But I love the 06 menu the most so far, because it's so clean, it sounds amazing, and it's got the menu cursor and everything, it just looks so good.
Yeah, to be honest, like, it is, like, probably my favorite, because, like, Sonic 06 just had a really good looking menu. Like, a really clean look. Like, it's kind of dated, now that I think about it, but it's
It's very dated. It's a very dated menu.
Yeah, it definitely screams, like, literally smack dab in the middle of the 2000s.
It does. It kind of does. Because it was, literally.
But I do like the aesthetic. It's clean for what it is.
I don't know if we're going to add a Forces type. We considered adding a Forces theme, and we've considered adding a Colors theme. We're not sure if we're going to do it yet, though.
Yeah, I remembered colors, like, while I was coding 06, I was like, oh yeah, colors had a menu.
So we might do a Forces theme, and we might do a...
We
Colors
might
theme, we're
start
not sure.
the color one after Forces, to be honest.
Say what?
We probably could style the vanilla one after Forces, because vanilla Infinity Engine looks like horses.
Kinda.
Also, the menu themes, by the way, it isn't just going to be for menus. And the final product, it will also change your hood.
Yeah.
Because that's another thing I've heard a few times. People say that they want the hood changing, and yeah, we're going to get around to making it to the hood.
We have been getting asked for it.
Just, oh yeah.
Yeah.
Every time I've been given a menu theme, I've been given the assets for the hood.
Like anything. Last time I checked, 6 was not in the middle of 10.
Okay, it was developed in like 2005. I was meaning more so like that, but you caught me. You got me.
I mean, 2004, 2005, 2006, that's in the centralized area.
Yeah, but then you're like expanding your margin of error, and that becomes dangerous unless you're an engineer.
Yeah. So yeah, like Reese was saying, the we're planning on having the actual the in-game HUD change with it. We got to completely rework the HUD in order to do that, though. The HUD needs to be reworked anyway.
That's the reason why the HUD hasn't been changed so far, because it's actually really difficult to get it to change. It's either I'm going to have to remake the HUD entirely, which is most likely the thing I'm going to do at this point, or I'll spend ages completely like segmenting the HUD sections and trying to get all of the assets to line up correctly.
So, I don't know if we showed this last time, but a neat little thing about the Wisps now is the icon shows up whenever you transform into a Wisp, or whenever you grab a Wisp. It's not
the Wisp icon isn't there permanently anymore. It only shows up when you have the Wisp.
Yep. And it disappears whenever you don't have it, with White Wisp being its default.
Yep.
So that's a neat little thing that's not cluttering up the thing anymore.
What happens if you grab the White Wisp?
Nothing should happen.
What do you mean, White Wisp? He's not included. How many frames do you think we saved with LEDs, by the way?
Well, how many frames? It's not going to be many. It's just a slight performance increase.
It is a slight performance increase. Like here, I'm maybe saving like a frame or two, maybe.
Yeah, I imagine it matters more for like if things get hectic or like you have rings in the distance.
And there's
like every little bit helps.
Reese was saying that there's. Yeah, Reese was saying that there's a way that, you know, you could stop things from animating if they're not on screen or, like, they're visually not seeable, you know?
Yeah. We need to talk about that for the enemies, because I've been having that aiming issue, but that's for later.
Yeah. So, that's most of everything. I know that, like, you know, everyone has just now kind of gotten in, now that we're 2 hours in, to make a 2-hour stream short. We went over Ivory Lightning, which can home attack shit now. And it's supposed to be able to do AoE damage, but it doesn't currently do it. Magenta Rhythm has been reworked to be a better but harder burst. Like so. You can get a lot more height out of it than you can with burst, but it's a lot harder to do because you have to be in time with the rhythm, and failing will increase your gravity, causing you to fall faster. So it's also going to be less combat oriented for those who are wondering about more comparisons between bursts and such. Wisps can now be taken out of their capsules and placed out separately without it, and you can grab them, but they will not respawn unless they have a capsule.
You just slurp them up.
Yep. Interactable objects such as balloons, dash ramps, dash rings, dash panels, and springs all use a interface now, which means that you no longer have to cast to the object. All you got to do is give an actor an interface and implement the proper code to interact with them, and they will be able to interact with it, which means in the future you could potentially change it to where like enemies or other NPC objects could interact with things like springs and balloons and dash ramps and such.
Yep.
Different objects now. We're beginning to implement LODs into objects. So it's most noticeable with the springs. We've got it with the Wisp, the individual Wisp models, the Wisp icons, these monitors, the balloons, dash ramps, dash rings, all those, as well as these springs. All these use LODs. So if you look there in the distance, you can see the spring is kind of angular, and then whenever I get closer, it becomes rounded. Same thing here. It becomes angular, and then as I get closer, it becomes rounded. So, and of course, the further away you get, the worse and worse the LOD gets, except that's outside of the loading zone, so you can't really see it. We've done that also with rings, so now the whole idea is just minute little performance things here and there. Everything, like if you give everything LODs of some kind, you're just going to get really, really, really minute performance enhancements, and those small performance enhancements stack up to bigger and poor performance enhancements. So
Yep.
And then the other main thing we went over in this stream was Knuckles.
So you could go over that, and maybe we could, like, by the way, like, since we're wrapping up, you guys can, especially if you're just joining, ask questions, comments, concerns, death threats. Actually, no, don't do that last one, but just in general, you know, blow up the comment section. Chat.
Knuckles got new moves, so if you hold the button, he'll do a rapid jab. If you do a 2-hit combo and then hold, he'll do an uppercut. Obviously, if you do a 3-hit combo, he'll do a sort of a whiplash. So if you hit an enemy with the rapid jab, you'll do a 3-hit combo on them. If you hit an enemy with the rapid jab and hold the back button, you'll teleport behind them and punch through them to reverse your direction. If you hit an enemy with the uppercut, you'll actually move up much higher than normal. So like there's the regular uppercut, and then here's the uppercut whenever hitting an enemy, assuming the enemy will actually let me hit them.
Yeah, that needs to be worked on.
Will there be an option to remove accessories? I believe there already is an option. We do have to improve it though.
And implement it more often.
Yeah. Like Sonic's glasses, Knuckles' hat, those are technically accessories, so there is an option. We just gotta work it in a little bit better. I didn't see who that follow was, but thank you for the follow.
Super player too.
Yeah, thank you for that follow. Knuckles got a new slam attack. We call it the Knuckles Spike. Using it on an enemy. Well, you call it that, and I like the move. Using it on an enemy will allow you to bounce up into the air. Holding the button whenever you hit an enemy will give you a small bounce, but if you let go of the button at the correct time, you will do a much higher bounce, rewarding better timing. It can only be done, you can only bounce off the ground once, and it will be reset if you hit an enemy.
Yep, and it charges as you hold it in the air. It charges in terms of like bouncing height and also range in terms of like the radius of the damage impulse when you hit the ground.
So you can see I jumped much higher this time rather than here because I did it from a higher elevation and charged it for longer. The maximum charge time is 2 seconds, and it does an AoE damage whenever charged at full height.
Yeah, I may buff it, honestly.
It's a great move for gaining height and such, like I just did there. It's much faster than wall climbing, but a lot harder to do, so it's more skill-based, and it's obviously more dependent on the location of enemies.
You got really good at doing that, by the way.
I have. I've gotten a little bit better.
I used to suck at it. No, I'm kidding.
And then we got this move that has literally just been implemented. A corkscrew ability, which is... we're still going to test around and play with it. Like so.
Oh, it really comboed that time.
Yep.
Hello, dude.
Bonk. Oh yeah, I also changed the... I changed the sound of the shields, so now they make a bonk sound from Generations.
Bonk.
Bonk.
Side note, I made changes so that, like, if you're rolling fast enough, you deal, like, I may change the shield slightly so that there's more leeway in terms of dealing damage to them. Especially when it comes to speed. Like, if you're going fast enough, you can roll into enemies and actually damage the shields more. Or if you're boosting, same thing. But we'll worry about that later.
No.
Oof. Having fun now.
Yep. Imagine I'm quite late into the stream. Hi, how are you guys? How's it going, Tiger? And you are quite late. We're at the 2-hour mark. I was just doing a quick overview because the viewer count basically doubled within the last 20 minutes. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to give everyone a quick rundown of what all we've done.
Yeah, I don't think we've really had this many viewers in like these streams in a while.
Not for a while. Sometimes we get it, but not all the time.
Yeah, love and support.
I like that spike.
I see. This is what I'm talking about in terms of designing for Knuckles. Like, I wouldn't say I'm just sharding out moves, but I am trying to design them in rapid fashion so we can figure out what fun is. Because I am fully expecting to throw out or change around a lot of these moves before Knuckles is quote unquote finished. And the fact that the spike is really enjoyable tells me at least where we should be going. It seems.
Yep. I think that the spiral move should be resorted to one of the charge alternates. If that makes sense, like a special charge move, like you charge it, and then you do this move instead. Pop. Oh, that's weird. It just held the charge.
Yeah, I like I just implemented. It's not fully like booleaned up, you could say. With
Not gated.
Yeah, it's not gated. That's what I meant. Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. I just sort of implemented how it kind of seems like it's implemented, like say Project Hero or like in Momentum, just for ease of like testing. We could tie it to the charge ability. One idea I had is that maybe you can charge and then press that button specifically, and you will like do like you could do it in the air or on the ground. You could do like a specialized like charged spiral attack, and you stun enemies with it maybe. But early in development, just implemented it. May even throw it out at some point. Who knows? Or just figuring stuff out. But I really do like. I do think this idea of like gaining height with Knuckles to like turn your energy from kinetic to potential back into kinetic seems like it's going somewhere.
So, to put it short, Knuckles is pretty fun to play.
Yeah, and he's only like, we haven't implemented anything like grabs. We are going to give him grabs. We haven't done that yet. So he's already shaping up quite nicely. Some trial and error there.
The other thing is the auto camera. I'm not touching the camera at all right now. The camera's trying to stick behind Knuckles. The auto camera scales off your speed, so the faster you're moving, the faster it'll try to insert behind you, so that way you can see where you're going.
Yeah.
Great for controller players. It's a little awkward to play with keyboard and mouse. It works fine. It's just muscle memory, mainly.
Yeah.
I feel like there was one other thing.
Silver with the editor thing, I guess.
Oh yeah, there's Silver's editor. You can obviously alter and move these around. Rotate them.
Also.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that was the other thing. Did I swap to Silver? I did.
Living in a city.
No. We also have little different weather effects now that we're planning on expanding on even more. We got the rain here. And we've got snow.
Reese, have we looked into making puddles yet?
So just to help accentuate this, like this, the whole idea of this is just for editor's sake. It's more of a preview to show you what things are going to look like depending on what you've linked to the Psychopad.
I may have dropped my phone.
So whenever I go and use the Psychopad, you can see that the object is going to scale up according to what the little ghost had a minute ago. So it's entirely editor level editing stuff. But yeah, the snow sticks to the ground. It also slides along walls wherever it hits a wall, as you can see right there.
Yeah.
And it will slide down slopes and stuff if it falls on a slope. We were talking about an idea of a global weather change where if you set it to like a snow, maybe the water will freeze over so you can run on it. And obviously it will be instance editable, so if you want certain bodies of water to not freeze over, you can do that. Here. The thing is probably more of a fan game specific thing, but it'd be cool to have a shield capsule that changes type of shield depending on weather. As in enemy shields? I'm a little confused.
I think he somewhat like environment, like player shields. Like imagine if the environment is like cold, the shield turns into an ice shield, but when it's normal, maybe it's a water shield.
Maybe
Or when it's raining, it's a water shield.
maybe the regular shield can do that. I wouldn't want to change these already existing elemental shields.
Well, I think what he's talking about would just be easier. Just have a shield box that simply it's just taking the weather effect and it just changes what it is. So
Yeah.
like if the wall's on fire, it turns fire.
That wouldn't be difficult. We can either create a whole new shield that does that, or we can just edit the existing regular shield to have a boolean that says, "Hey, change depending on the weather." You know, it
I
doesn't.
think that's a cool idea.
Either way, it would work. It would be an interesting idea, especially if you had like live weather changing system. Like if you had a level that changed the weather live, you can change the shields at the same time as well. That'd be pretty interesting. Sounds more like a special ability for a specific character. That could be the case, but we'll have to see. Silver has a Psycho Knife. Why Silver Sonic? Why is he using Sonic's voice? He is not. He's not using Sonic's voice. The Psycho Knife can be charged to deal more damage and pierce through more enemies, which I'm not going to run into the combat room to show off, just because I don't like that room.
It's Silver's voice from the Tokyo 2020 Olympic Games, I believe.
Yeah. It's from the Olympic Games.
It's from one of the Olympic Games because it had the best variety of grunt sound effects for jumping.
The Psycho Knife can be charged while in midair. And it can also be charged while running. And thrown and stuff.
We should probably also make it use energy, but
yeah,
later.
We'll consider that. So there's a lot to there is a lot that we know went over on this stream.
Yeah, including some design documents, but that's more so just us talking about it and addressing people.
Yeah, we discussed flight combat. So for those of you who had joined in last minute, that is a like 10-minute rundown of a 2-hour stream, pretty much.
Yeah.
Oh,
and
Eggman.
Oh yeah, Eggman.
We got
it's
Eggman.
technically Super Silver, but whatever.
And the menus.
Yep, the menus and Eggman, which we already went to. Oh yeah, Super Silver was also a thing. I made a change to Super Silver where if you're Super Silver, you don't actually drain energy while flying, but rather you drain rings faster. So you could potentially fly longer, but at the cost of more rings. So it's more of a like a decision. Like, do I want to use up more rings for flying? Oh, I forgot it's G.
Yeah, it's G now.
So as you can see, I'm not consuming energy, but my rings are draining faster. That's a change I made. I completely forgot about that because I made that like right after our last step stream. Yeah. But as soon as I stop streaming, it not streaming. As soon as I stop flying, it goes back down. We gotta change the animation here so he doesn't fucking skid across the ground.
I like it. Shows how serious he is. It's gonna skid the ground.
Yeah. And then there's just a rogue rock pointing out of the ground and something like cuts his face open.
And of course, as soon as you run out of energy, it's going to, or as soon as you run out of rings, you'll detransform and your energy will begin to drain. So that is another change we made to Silver. I completely forgot about.
Yep. Anywho, should we just transition to the Q&A? Well, not Q&A, but the part where we take suggestions while we just
shoot the shit last minute.
Yeah, shoot shit.
We've done everything.
If anyone has any questions or concerns or ideas, again, you're more than welcome to share them. Now would be the time to do so. This is kind of the end part of the stream. I might go for another 20 minutes or so.
Yeah, talk about things like...
We could show off one more thing, I'm just saying.
Yeah, I'd rather talk about things at this point. Like,
well, if I did show it, it would be a tease, not really like a full out, demonstration.
Nah, I think we're good.
So what?
Listen. I know who put it in. I feel like I should have this. I should be able to choose with this one.
All right, fine. Well, we'll hold off on this last special thing. When Shadow super and he quickstep, does he quickstep or does he do chaos control? He's supposed to quickstep. He's supposed to teleport, but he currently doesn't. I don't think.
Oh yeah, that
full effect broke.
Yeah.
Ages ago, Shadow is in line for getting a brief update.
Yeah, we're gonna have to. I don't know if it'll be by the end of this update. We're probably not gonna do it in this update of the build.
Him, Blaze, and Metal Sonic need a little just once over again.
One more thing.
But
Tiger's calling for one more thing. I do know that like a lot of those like minor things for like Shadow, Metal Sonic, and Blaze, and probably a couple of other things, like a lot more of the minor character details we're gonna save for the next update. The next update is gonna be a whole bunch of minor character updates and detailing, as well as bug fixing and cleanup. That's a large majority of what the next update's going to be after this is cleanup, code cleanup, updates, minor additions, like a couple more stage interactable objects and stuff like that. So probably some more expanded up. Like, I don't know, depending on how easy or difficult it is to get the Wisps working in a 2D section, we might save
damn
that.
it. He's on to us. He knows the secret already.
Minecraft Steve is coming to Infinity Plus. Ah, shit. Oh, fuck.
Look, they noticed all the blocks everywhere.
Yep.
But please, it's on.
This entire level wasn't made with Unreal Engine brush.
Right to Minecraft.
Really just blocks from Minecraft with texture.
This is all
Sorry,
Minecraft.
Mario. But Headshot's gotta do what Headshot's gotta do. Wait, I know.
Give Sonic
Time to send you to
hit
Minecraft. Wait, I thought we already knew about Steve.
In the multiplayer mode, if you get hit by Sonic, it just boots up Minecraft on your PC.
Boom, boom, boom.
It's like those Mario Kart videos where you get hit by red shell, the video ends.
the game just quits and opens up freaking Minecraft.
Yeah, it's a do. You know.
Should we give a hint as to the last thing? Obviously, if we're not going to show off, should we at least hint it? Or, like, what it entails or involves at the very least?
More up to Manuel, I'm going to say with this. It's his ability. It's his thingy code that he wants to...
Oh, no, Fizz, you could go ahead and say, like, things about it.
Alright, I will say one thing about it. It involves Whisper. So this one thing involves Whisper.
It involves Whisper, and it's probably one of her main gameplay mechanics.
Yeah, it's one of her main gameplay mechanics. The QA testers actually know what this is already, so I hope they don't spoil it. I would greatly appreciate it if they didn't.
I don't think any of them are here.
I appreciate it even more.
Yeah. But not only is it going to be part of like her main, it's going to be Whisper's thing. Like, you know, boosting is the speed character's thing, or the home attack, like boosting or the home attack or whatever, you know, gliding, climbing, and melee, that's, you know, the power character's thing, flying, you know, that's the flight character's thing. It's more of a platforming thing. So in terms of platforming, you know, boosting is the speed thing, gliding and climbing, that's the power thing, flying, that's the flight thing. But for Whisper, this thing is going to be her platforming thing. It's going to be, I'm not going to say like it's her primary, you know, go to be all end all solution to everything.
It's definitely unique, and it has, the way we're looking into it's going to have a lot of like, it's definitely going, how do I say, it's going to have a lot of depth if we do it right.
Yeah, it's going to have a lot of depth. It's going to have a lot of very interesting level design interaction, as well as possibilities.
Yeah.
And it's going to be, for one, it's just fucking fun. Like, that's one of the reasons I've been wanting to show it off, because it's fun.
Oh. You know, the funny thing is, with that code that Emmanuel's done, you could actually code Tangle with it.
Shush. Stop.
Shush. You said too much.
But yeah, it's gonna be Whisper's boost in a sense. Well, how do Whisper works? Whisper works do good.
Do good work.
New platform and mechanics on it.
She hasn't been in a game, so this is all.
She's going to be a stand-in for the Force's avatar character. She's going to be better than the Force's avatar character in almost every single way. But she is going to be Infinity Plus's version of the Avatar character, which is why someone earlier suggested we do customizable characters, and we turned it down because Whisper is going to be the stand-in for the Avatar-esque character for Infinity Plus.
Yeah. Also, I just want to say that like, I feel like Reese has kind of claimed Mighty and inserted him. Fizz, you've obviously claimed Whisper because she's best girl and put her in. I'm just going to claim literally everybody else because they're not as good.
Oh,
But
okay.
Team Sonic, Team Sonic as, does she keep an entourage of Wisps with her? Yes, that is actually, yeah, that's true. She will
Oh yeah.
keep
She's
an
gonna be
entourage
like
of
Harry
Wisps.
yes, and she for a neutral special she will wield a gun. That's real.
For a neutral
That's pretty
special,
good.
Whisper wields gun.
Yeah.
Burst.
Makes Sonic
Makes Sonic go with a gun.
That's essentially Whisper. And that's not a joke. She's going to have a gun. She has the Wisp
See
on.
all of me.
I'm not going to play her, but I will pull up her character model because I think it has it in there. Wait, is it in her? Oh yeah, she's got her Wisp on. So she has a gun, literally.
She has a gun.
Good.
And she's going to be the only character that can hold more than one Wisp at a time. And she will be able to hold Wisps as a form of ammunition. Every single Wisp will give her a different firing type. Like, for example, Burst could be a flamethrower, obviously, as per usual. Rocket could be a rocket launcher-esque fire type, you know. Laser could shoot out a beam weapon of some kind.
Bomb could be like a grenade launcher from Halo.
Yeah, bomb could be a grenade launcher. Cube and Grey Quake could be a form of like melee attack. Spike could be similar to like the Halo's needle gun. It could be a rapid fire homing shot, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
We have a lot of ideas we want to do with Whisper. Void could be like the Billy Hatcher gun from Shadow. It just
from Shadow just sucks everything up.
I think we want Frenzy to be a less powerful but faster melee. Like unlike Cube and Quake, which will probably have a wider AoE and deal more damage, it'll probably be slower.
Yeah, I think we were thinking something along the line of attaching a chain chomp to your leg for Frenzy. And that's the melee.
Yeah, we did consider that. We did consider that at one point, attaching a chain chomp to you.
Essentially, like think of it that way. It's not actually going to be that.
Poor Green Hill from Generations. No.
Yeah.
We do have Green Hill assets. That is, we do have a lot of Green Hill assets. Do we have that old demo or that old debug room still?
Yes.
Where's that at?
Oh God.
It's a new level. It should be called Blitz 2.
Is it Blitz 2? Let's see. Open level.
We have to play homage to like the original Alban version of it. That's
why I want the vanilla menu theme to be. Like I want the background to be a screenshot of the original Blitz level.
I like that. Whisper, you're saying it.
Pikmin meets Doom Eternal.
Yeah. The color. I mean,
Oh God! Not been in this level forever. Compiling the shaders.
Christ.
Oh Lord.
Looks cool, I guess.
Oh, look at the style. It's on point.
Such style, such grace.
Chainsaw Wisp go. We considered that one for Spike too. Like we considered Spike being a chainsaw instead. Or was that a weapon in Doom? I know there's a weapon like it in Warframe where you shoot out a buzzsaw and it levitates in front of you and you can like move it around and cut enemies.
It's not in Doom, but you get a literal chainsaw.
Yeah. Pain, Crisis City, Green Hill. If I were to port, I've said this multiple times. If I were to port one level into Infinity Plus, it would be Rooftop Run from Generations. I would 100% import that level. I would love to play that level in Infinity Plus.
Good level. Here we go. We can see now. I mean, those are Green Hill assets, but they've got Seaside Hill textures on them.
Yeah, technically these are all Green Hill assets. Like these things here.
Enemies into sleep.
You can kind of tell this is the original Infinity. He just changed a lot.
Yeah. This here's a heavily modified version of the original Blitz 2 level.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm get like if you go to the center area, it's the same like setup of items and stuff.
Yeah, we've moved away from using terrain a lot because we realized that, like,
Oh, right. We changed the spawning system.
Oh yeah, it won't work.
It won't work. We changed the spawning.
Oh, really?
It needs like a level manager and a couple spawn points with
Ooh.
tags.
Yeah. It doesn't have a start tag. Oops.
Oh
well.
This level
Oh,
is
no. Anyway.
officially unplayable right now.
Yeah.
Oh
we,
no.
we might fix it
Anyway.
up just for old time's sake. We might fix it up, but
What the hell's that to the left?
well,
Oh no, I know what it is. It's behind you. It's flashing over there in the distance.
oh, that's the
It's the
yeah.
danger of falling sign. I forgot that I put that there.
Come over here. You will
That's a
die.
death plane. Planet 2
Oh,
Act.
God.
Planet Wisp Act 2 generations. No, thank you.
I mean, it's a nice looking level.
It is a nice looking level. No, thank you. To be honest, that would be the coolest level ever. Mashup levels sound great. Oh, Crisis Hill, Green City.
It would be cool to see Green Hill, but like actually devastated.
Green Hills
Like
looks
the-
a lot more like Sand Hill now.
I'm quitting.
Terminal
Bye.
City. Oh, okay. There he goes. I was about to say my new level idea. Terminal City, Planet, Rooftop.
Rooftop
Junior.
Planet Wisp Run City.
Yeah.
Electric Boogaloo.
Chemical Plant.
Better complete Sonic Generations Act 2.
Yeah.
But that is everything. We've been streaming for 2.5 hours.
We have.
Yeah.
Are there any other questions or concerns or comments? We usually only
If
go
not-
for about 2 to 2.5 hours, so I'm gonna allow for like any last minute comments or questions.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna go eat after this.
Yeah.
I need to grab a snack as well.
Grab a snack.
Yeah,
I'm definitely gonna work on Knuckles some more. Not now, but like
Yeah.
invigorate to work on.
Hopefully in the next dev stream, which by the way, the next dev stream. Oh, there is one more thing we need to talk about. Next dev stream will be December 7th. Huge enemies. We do have huge enemies.
The freaking
Or a huge enemy currently.
This is just a stream of one more thing.
Oh yeah, one more thing. The egg hammer is
Yeah, we
nowhere
got the
near
egg
done,
hammer.
but it is there. Or many bosses.
It's there. We're gonna set up a boss scenario, but not actual any bosses.
In the next in the next 2 weeks, we're gonna try and get Knuckles looking a lot more finished. Hopefully, by the next dev stream, Knuckles will be in a much more complete state. He's already really far along already as he is now.
Oh,
Especially
but,
compared to before.
something else you can mention is
Oh my god, what is it?
Does it involve December?
yes.
Okay, because I already thought of that one, I think.
Okay, let's see if you're correct. If we're for the same thing.
For the cleanup, you mentioned you'll be working after this update. We'll be working on making a guide of sorts to work with Infinity Plus. Yeah, during the next update, after Colorful Combat, alongside doing the cleanup update as well as the final additional update, or like the final update essentially, we're going to be working on some, tutorials as well as some guides and stuff that one, we will more than likely be making in a video format, and we will probably be compiling them all into like a major playlist. And we were considering making a website. It would still be nice to make a website that contained all the information we need, that people can just access all in one area, but we're not entirely sure if we're going to still go with that one yet. But we are planning on making guides. What was the other thing I was going to say?
Anything
Oh.
to do with release?
I know we've said multiple times. I'm just going to go ahead and say this so I don't forget. but there is actually other things I wanted to talk about with the next dev stream.
Okay.
We've said it multiple times that we wanted to get this update out by December, but that will probably not be the case. We're probably gonna have to push it back one more time to January, mainly because I have a feeling that by the end of the month, or partially into next month, we will finally begin working on flight characters. Meaning,
Yeah.
I predict that, you know, Knuckles will probably be in a lot more of a finished state with Knuckles by the end of the month. Not in a complete state, but in a closer to finished state with Knuckles. And that still leaves an entire third branch of character types, the flight character. We still got an entire other character type to do. So I don't see us getting that done in the span of December. But hopefully we can get it done in January. And essentially once that's done, because I'm nearly done with the Wisps at the moment. I got to get them interactable with 2D sections, and then after that, a large majority of the work with the Wisps is cleanup work.
And we need to do particles for them, like just more visual flair for them.
Which that doesn't take anywhere near as long as all the work that I had been pouring into them. So hopefully by that time I can actually divert my own resources to helping Emmanuel with combat. I would like to try and help with that so that way we can get it done a little bit faster. But even then, I don't expect us to get this update out before the end of December. I'm hoping middle of January. However, we are not going to leave you guys hanging. We did say December by the end of the year, and we still want to give you something for Christmas. So we're going to be releasing an early demo, public demo in December for you guys to play with. That way we're not just sitting here leaving you hanging, because it won't be anything exaggeratedly big or anything insane, but it will be a demo that you guys can play with, get an idea on how a lot of this stuff is going to work, as well as some more feedback, because at that point in time, once we get that demo out, a lot of the feedback that we'll be getting will be mainly tweak work, like tweaking, adjusting things.
Tweaking the Wisps, just mainly.
Yeah, as well as some combat stuff. I think Sonic is in a really great spot with combat right now. He'll just need some minor tweaking. I hope to get Knuckles in a position where all he will need to be done to him is like just have tweaks done to him by December, or by the time we release the demo. So
yeah, we want to get Knuckles to the state of where Sonic is now by December at some point. That's the goal.
Hopefully like early December, so that way we can get to working on Tails next. Because once we get Tails done and Silver a little bit further along, then we can actually start prepping for an actual release. So you did say December, beginning of January last time, so it's not a big delay if it's like the end of January. Yeah, I was really hoping that we can get it done by, like, I knew around the last, like during Sage, I'm like, yeah, we're gonna have to push this back to like the end of the year. I was hoping like maybe November, maybe December. November was hopeful thinking, but I knew the reality would be December.
To be honest, personal life stuff has popped up for a few of us, so
yeah,
we couldn't fully commit to working on the project.
Yeah, I'm calling and stuff.
Between Emmanuel's college, I had an event that had happened that I had to. Yeah, I had to fly out for one, so that was like a week. And then I had to recover from coming back. And then right after that, another event happened that I had to divert time towards. I don't want to get into it. It's another personal life thing. So, which was one of the reasons why the last developer update was so sparse.
So lackluster.
Yeah, because I had to divert a lot of time to that as well.
I've been here and there and everywhere with other things in life as well. So we've all actually been very busy since Sage with just things that have popped up.
Yeah.
But my schedule is a lot more cleaner now. I'm going to be able to get back into work. And I suspect that once Christmas rolls around, like once Thanksgiving and Christmas rolls around, I'm probably going to be the one primarily working on stuff, because you guys are probably going to do holiday stuff. I'm not traveling for the holidays this year, so I'm going to be...
Well, I'm not traveling either. It'll mostly, after, I'm home for Thanksgiving break, but I have 2 weeks of school, and after that, I'll be, a bit more free.
Yeah, but you guys are going to be spending time with your families for Christmas, which I am not. I'm going to be like on call with them probably a few times, but other than that, I'm not gonna. Yeah. I'm not trying.
I'll probably still be around because I don't go places. My family's here, but yeah, we're gonna just see what happens when it gets around to that time of year.
The demo that
a month left.
Super Player, the demo that's going to be releasing in for Christmas or the Christmas time-esque area. That's not going to be the cleanup demo. That's going to be the Colorful Combat update demo. The cleanup demo that's going to be next year. The cleanup update, the final update will be next year.
Yeah, it's going to be a Colorful Combat demo, just like it was at Sage, but it's more of an advanced demo. It's not going to be project files. It's just going to be
executable
a project. Yeah, an executable project for now, because the project files aren't clean enough to hand out.
Super Player had asked a question earlier that I didn't get to answer. He was wondering what this cleanup update would be. The cleanup update is basically going to be just that. It's going to be an update that contains a bunch of cleaned up code, some more streamlined processes here and there. Things like that interface system that I implemented with this, with the interactable objects, we're going to be probably doing some more things like that. Essentially, making things a little bit more streamlined, a little bit more cleaned up, and hopefully a lot more bug tested. Like the next update is going to contain a shit ton of bug testing. As well as things like Shadow, Blaze, and Metal Sonic. Those are characters that we've kind of neglected. There's a lot of things that we can clean up with them in terms of the visuals department. Give them their own like little bits and pieces there of their own individual flair to help them stand out as individual characters. And also the next update is going to contain Whisper. This update, we wanted Whisper in this update, but she's not going to be in this update.
No, she'll be in Colorful Combat.
No, we decided to push her back. Silver will be in Colorful Combat update. Whisper will not. We discussed this last time. She's gonna be pushed back to the final update.
All right.
Just because we've got a whole lot of work we want to do with her, but at around that time, hopefully, other than cleanup and bug tested work, we're going to have a lot more time to dedicate to her, so hopefully she will not actually take all that long once we actually get to her. Because at that point in time, we'll just be doing like little tidbit work here and there, and we can probably like collaborate and just get her done really, really quickly. How much more work are you guys planning to do before you think you are mostly done, except maybe minor updates and features? This update and the next update. This update is going to be...
this update, a cleanup update, and then final.
Yeah. Well, the cleanup update is going to be the final one.
Okay.
Hopefully.
We'll see.
I don't know what to call the final update, so for now I'm dubbing it the cleanup update. The Unleashed update. And even once we do finish with the cleanup update or the final update, we're not going to be entirely done because we have the plus pack characters that we have talked about before. We've got Honey and Mighty and one additional plus pack character that we're going to be working on, which will not take very long at all because it's just individual characters. I don't think we're planning on doing anything else outside of that. At least nothing that we can tell you about.
No.
There's going to be
a mini project from somebody.
There's going to be one thing related to Infinity Plus that is going to be done either with the final update or shortly after the final update. I would be okay if it doesn't get released exactly at the same time, but I would very much like it to be released at the same time. But there is going to be one more thing involving the original Infinity Plus crew involving the final update. I don't want to say what it is. I'm not going to spoil it just because I want it to be something, really fun and really big that people can enjoy for themselves. But you'll hear about it more after the Colorful Combat update. We kind of partially need to start working on it now to an extent, but we can get to it when we need to.
We kind of have, but yeah.
Really fun and really big.
Oh, he's on to us.
Yeah. Ezrio asked, what projects are we planning on working on after Plus? Buy Disney Plus and get Infinity Engine Plus early access. Yep, that's how it works. Get the Mandalorian. Watch Mandalorian, you get an exclusive child.
Oh, shit. I need to see the next episode.
I need to watch the season.
Anywho, to answer Esrio's question, I guess we could answer one at a time. For me, I am actually still planning to work on, other than like live stuff, like a Sonic fan game. I actually thought before working on Sonic Fan Plus, I'm probably going to use the bones of this project to make it, and who knows, maybe tack on an engine on top of it, kind of like what Hero's doing. But that's my plan, and also stick around. But that's the long short.
I've got a personal project to work on, and I might also make a fan game out of this engine. I've been throwing around ideas for a fan game myself, but I'll see if I ever get around to making it, to be honest, because I've got my own personal thing I need to work on.
The most I will do after finishing this project, like if I do anything with this again after we finish or release the final update, the most I would ever do is honestly a rooftop run level. I would love to do a rooftop run level. Although someone did ask me to make a Kaizo level. I might actually do that. I would love to make a Kaizo level. That could be really fun. I might.
Wasn't that me?
No, someone else asked that actually. And
oh, did they?
Yeah, someone else asked me to make a Kaizo level. I would like to do that just for the fun of it. I might get some help on it though, because levels are really, really long. But outside of that, the Kaizo level I'm more than likely to do than the rooftop run level, just because, the rooftop run level wouldn't take very long. I would just have to get all the assets imported and cleaned up and stuff like that, which we do have. We do have that, so.
Yeah, good luck with that.
It would just be a bit of a process. Outside of that, the thing I'm going to be working on after Infinity Plus is a personal project. Similar to what Reese was saying, I do have my own personal project that I'm working on. It's going to be my own IP, non-Sonic related. I do need to get some more work done on it here soon, just because I have gone back and done some work on it here and there. But that's my plans afterward. I'm going to work on my own project. Reese is going to work on his own project, and Emmanuel's going to, I don't know, die, I guess.
I just said I was going to work on something. Let's go.
So I hope that answers your question. Me and Reese are going to work on our own personal projects. I would still be down to work with him on things if he needs, if Reese needed help on his project, I would gladly help him with that. Or
yeah, same here.
I would gladly help Emmanuel with his game or whatever.
We'll probably just make a group.
We have considered that.
Make a studio, guys. I'll be the awkward one out in Britain.
I have tossed around the idea of us three being just a game development team that moves on after Infinity Plus works on other projects. We've not confirmed anything like that or anything like that. Just don't.
It's early days.
Don't take that as, oh, we're gonna be the next Mania team that whatever. Don't.
No, honestly, I would not want to work for Sega anyway.
I wouldn't want to work for Sega either. I've heard working for Sega is a nightmare. But
yeah. Not fun.
Suddenly the tables were turned. Instead of Fizz waking up to a whole new thing being done by Reese woke up to Wiz having ported and cleaned Rooftop Run. You just walk in one day and I've imported the entirety of Rooftop Run.
Oh, yeah.
How did you do this?
And also,
Reese just walks up. I miss my wife tails. I'll be back.
I miss my wife tails.
I'll be back.
Anywho, it's 2:40. It's 2 hours 42 minutes. I think we should. I'm honestly hungry.
Yeah, you can go. I'm nearly done. I want to go back and play Hyrule Warriors. I was playing it last night. It was really fun. # Unleashed project for Infinity.
I did want to talk about some Knuckles stuff, but I'll do it some other time.
Yeah, the next update or the next dev stream, hopefully we will have Knuckles in a much more finished state, and we can hopefully start working on Tails here soon. Maybe some more work done on enemies as well. I don't know about Silver. Maybe as we work on enemies, we can work on Silver at the same time. And
yeah,
I'm not entirely sure about the whole 2D sections with Wisp things. I want to get it done, but at the same time, depending on how difficult it'll be, if it's going to be easy, hopefully I can just get it all done within a short time span, because at that point in time, it's just translating controls and some interactions. If it's going to be difficult, I might just say fuck it and put it off to the next update. I'm getting to the point with Wisps where I've worked with them for so long. I'm like, all right, I'm tired of this. But
I see how it is.
Yeah, I guess that will be it for this stream.
yep, that's gonna be it.
Yep.
We
I'm
gotta
going to
go.
get some food. Reese, we can talk later about the enemy stuff.
Okay.
All right, so thank you everybody for joining in. Like I said, the next dev stream will be again 2 weeks from now, December 7th, probably roughly around the same time, anywhere between 12 to 2 p.m. Pacific Standard. So make sure to join in on that if you want to. This will be uploaded next week on next Monday, November 30th. I hope everybody has a great Thanksgiving weekend because this is Thanksgiving week.
Yes, get that turkey.
Yep. Don't overeat unless you want to overeat. Then engorge yourself. I don't care. But have a happy holidays, everybody, and we will see everyone next time.
All right, see you guys.